Being said that, the first thing what we are going to do is throughout the session, okay, uh, since we have got less participants, and I hope it is easier for me to uh, clarify all your questions, and I would definitely ask you to use the message option. Okay, so whenever we are going through the session and whenever there is a topic that I'm being covering here, so how the pattern goes. Okay, so you will be looking into my screen, and then you will completely go through whatever the steps I have done. Let's say, for example, I'm loading a data. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you how you are going to load the data and what are the steps I have taken. And second, post which you are going to do a practice. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes of time. You'll be practicing it, and then you will confirm me back on the chat window that yes, you're done. So most likely we'll be using the chat window. Okay, and also whenever you have any question, you can use the option raise your hand. Okay, and once it is completed, you can lower your hand so that it is easier, because I need to switch back to the chat window as I need to switch back to the Power BI window. So this is how the pattern works, and I hope this is okay for everyone. So if you guys are okay with this, just drop me a message on the chat window saying yes. And also while we are going through the training, in case if my pace is not uh, if I'm going very fast, just let me know, okay, so that we can slow it down. So all these things will be taken care. Well, we are okay. We are all working professionals, or might be you might be into some business, or you are interested in this. But yes, there is no sir here. Okay, you can always call me Shrikant. So not a problem at all. Just let's keep it very simple. Okay, right. Now, I'll give few minutes, okay, around just 2 minutes, not more than that. Um, what you guys have to do is just give me a little bit of introduction about it. We can go around the table, and now this is not mandatory that you have to speak about yourself completely, okay, but this is just for me to take an understanding about what you're standing on the tool, okay. So on my count, what you guys will be doing is you can unmute yourself, just speak out your name. And if you're interested or if you're comfortable to say where you're working, you can. And do you have a Power BI experience earlier, or is this the first time that you are learning? Okay, so those are the 3 points that I just wanted to know. So let's start with Deepali.
Good morning, sir. My name is Deepali Vaudane, and this is totally new for me. Power BI
Okay,
is totally new for me. I am working with Vihan Enterprises as a senior sales coordinator.
okay, okay. All right, Deepali, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Mithun.
Hi Shrikant. Hi all. Good morning. Shrikant, my name is Mithun, and I'm working with Wipro as a program manager. So
Okay.
currently, I use Excel as a dashboard to track all of the other projects. So Power BI is a new tool, although I have seen a couple of dashboards, but I wish to learn it from scratch. Shrikant, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. Remaining, you can just unmute yourself. I'm not just going by the names. You can unmute, feel free to unmute yourself and then talk.
Hello. Hi, Shrikant. This is Pramod here. I'm
Hi,
working as
Pramod.
a consultant for a logistics domain. And for me, learning Power BI is a new thing. Earlier, we used to use Excel as a tool. So I want to learn Power BI from, to present it to the management. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Pramod. Yes.
Hi Shrikant, Pooja here. Hello everyone. My name is Pooja Rani. I'm working with Tetra Pak as a service administrator officer. And right now we are using Excel as for a reporting or dashboard for everything. And
Mhm.
Power BI is a new for me. I have never worked on Power BI before. So yes,
Okay.
that's it for me.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Namita Gaikwad, and I'm working with Netrix as a business analyst, as well as I'm
Mhm.
pursuing MBA. And Power BI is new to me, and I want to gain knowledge into that, as it is very useful for my further career. Thank
Sure.
you.
We'll get our best. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning, Dimple here. Power BI is very new to me, and I'm looking forward to learn and get a hands-on on it.
Okay. So this is Dimple.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, Dimple. Thank you.
thank
Hi. Hi, good morning, Mr. Lakshmi. This is Afreen, and I am actually in between jobs, and I had just completed last month Excel and PowerPoint from Mr. Prabhas, and I would like to learn Power BI, and I have no knowledge in this.
Okay. All right. No problem at all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, friend. And
Shrikant, this
anyone
is
else?
Shirish. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Suresh.
Yeah, as of now, I am a professor in IBS Business School, and I also teach IT courses and analytics. So this is
Mhm.
something which I have not done before, but I'm just curious to learn.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Suresh.
Hi,
All right.
Shrikant.
Oh,
Good
we have
morning.
one more.
Ankita this
Yes,
side.
Ankit.
I'm working with EY right now. So coming from a consultancy background, I
Mhm.
we generally have a lot of things to report in analytics tools and present it in PowerPoint and as well as in other dashboards, right? Power BI and Tableau. So that is why I wanted to learn this Power BI because I have zero knowledge on this, and but still I wanted when I thought of doing this Power BI as well with Mr. Excel for all. So that is why I'm
Mhm.
going to take this.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ankita. And we have covered
Hello,
everyone.
everybody. I'm Dilnawaz.
Okay.
I work as a chief accountant in UAE.
Okay.
I'm working a lot on Excel and wanted to get into this new learning experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And anyone more to go? Have we covered Deepak? Deepak Pawar. Okay. Um, well, that's really good meeting you and people in virtual from different organizations and different backgrounds. And also good to hear that you guys doesn't have a knowledge. When I say good, it doesn't mean don't take it so sarcasm. It is very simple because someone doesn't know anything from the scratch can able to build more knowledge and will have more questions, and I would definitely see that passion towards learning, right? So whenever whenever I meet the people who are really freshers on a particular tool, I really like them because they can gain more knowledge because whatever the experience they have on the remaining other applications, that gives immense knowledge to learn more on this. Okay, so let me share my screen and let me start the session for today. Okay, right. Forget to ask everyone before I do this. By the way, you guys have downloaded the Power BI tool from Google, everyone. If you guys have done that, just
Yes,
drop me a message.
yes.
Okay,
you. Yes, done.
cool.
Yes.
Right.
Shrikant, I was not able to do because I have a Windows 7, so I'll be doing it tomorrow. So I will be just observing the session and
Okay,
hopefully I will try to get into track by next week.
okay. All right. No
And
problem at all.
it was my fault that I woke up too late. and I realized that it's not going to be downloaded on Windows 7. So my apologies.
No problem at all. Don't apologize, because it's a good thing that you wanted to learn the session. So yeah, you can do that later and then you can practice it. Not a problem at all.
Thank you.
And reminding everyone who have already downloaded it. Okay. Okay. I hope you guys are able to see my screen now. Okay.
No.
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Let me stop sharing it. Let me share it one more time. Okay. How about now? You guys are able to see?
Yes.
Okay.
I am not able to see. I think so. I'll just log out and log in.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's seen.
Okay. Good. All right. So as I learned that you have no experience on the Power BI, let me just give you a little bit of introduction about the Power BI first. Okay. And then we can see what are the options we have on the Power BI, what exactly the Power BI is giving us, in terms of visualization, what kind of offerings it has. On the first note, let me explain why we are preferring to the Power BI compared to the other Excel application which we are thorough with, right? So we have been using Excel for quite some time, and uh, most of us have a good experience, good amount of experience on handling MS Excel with a large amount of data, and then making a meaningful pivot charts, pivot tables, and meaningful dashboards, and take it to the management for a presentation, right? So why do we create a dashboard in an Excel? On the first note, there are various answers for that. So on a nutshell to say, yes, it helps people to decide, or helps the management to take a decision about what are the statistics, the current statistics we are bringing onto the dashboard, right? And also to analyze the particular information. So some say that, we analyze the data and then we keep it in a presentable format and easier way for a user, right? So on a nutshell to say, this is how an Excel a dashboard is being created. But why Power BI, why not Excel? Right, the question here is, although Excel is a very good application, and it is well keep growing in advanced for these days. However, in terms of the data, there is a limitation, right? Let's say, for example, if I need to collect the data from 10 different Excel files and then put it on a single dashboard, it is definitely a tedious task. And imagine that each file have around 10 lakhs of data. So which means altogether you're dealing a data above 1 crore. So which means it is highly impossible, right? And to show it in an Excel dashboard. And then uh, technically, yes, it is not so easier to toggle around. And there is a lot of chance that, it might get crash. And there are multiple factors why we don't prefer in such areas. Then coming back to the visualization tool. Now we have a lot of visualization tools in the market, right? One of our participants also just explained about they're using a Tableau, right? We have certain applications, and why we are preferring to the Power BI. Is Power BI doing so great than the remaining tools? Well, to be honest, all the visualization tools in the market have their own different kinds of offerings wherein when it comes to their visualization and making it much more presentable and handling of the data. But when it comes to the Power BI, the only reason why we say it is much more friendly and easier tool compared to the other visualization, on the first note, since we are using Excel for quite some time, we are very used to with rows and columns of the data, and then how do we create a summary table. So we are very used with the Excel, which is very close to us, right? I would say very close to our heart when it comes to professional life, correct? Similarly, when there is something, a different kind of a visualization tool altogether, which is close as close as an Excel sheet. Now, it will be much more easy for us to create or use the same thing on the Power BI, right? So that is one of the reason where the Power BI is coming into the market and becoming more famous, because it is as close as to an Excel file. And just not only the Excel file, once we are done, or once we are once we have created all the charts, or whatever the stuff that we wanted to do on the Excel, then the very next step that we always think about is publish this onto a PowerPoint presentation. So this is the next immediate step that anyone would think over, right? Similarly, in Power BI, you have a mixture of an Excel file and a PowerPoint also. So that's again another reason why the Power BI is again coming more into the market. Okay, so it is a mixture of both your Excel file and the PowerPoint presentation. But when you ask me, okay, can I open a PowerPoint presentation in a Power BI? No, it doesn't work like that, right? It has its own features where it gives you the output of the format, whatever you are creating on the Power BI can be extracted to an Excel file or extracted to a PowerPoint, or either you can extract it back to your PDF. Okay, so it has this own offerings. It has its own offerings where it can able to provide in and help you out in showcasing your visualizations in different applications altogether. So what we are going to learn, and by end of the session, okay, by end of this complete training session, what you will be from nowhere on the Power BI, you will be starting your journey, and by end of the session you should be able to independently build a complete dashboard, end-to-end dashboard, with the different kinds of visualizations and custom creations within the Power BI. And that is what you are going to experience all throughout your journey from day one to the last day of the session. Okay, I'm sorry, sometimes I'm really bad to remembering few things, so I'm just quoting it in between of your journey. How does it work in, right? So today, as the first day of this session, you will be experiencing what is a Power BI and what are the contents in the Power BI and how best I can able to use it. Now, for the ease of this training, what I have done is I have shared you a complete data set. Okay, and believe you have got your data set, everyone. Or is there anyone who didn't receive the data set yet? So you should be receiving a folder. Okay, and within that folder, um, my bad, I have not segregated it, but I did it in my laptop. So you should see around um, 11, okay, 10 different files. You will see 10 different files and one Word document, and there are few more images where there is a mixture in your data set. I hope all this particular data set has been received by everyone. If yes, you can drop me a message that you guys have received it. Okay, all right. Two people. Okay. And again, as said, like I mostly rely on the chat window because I might not expect everyone to unmute themselves and talk to me sometimes, because it might not allow you because of the background noise or something going around you. So please use the chat window, and so that it will be much more easy for me to go through. Yes, you guys are on there with me on the same page. Great. 10 Excel files and 15 images and one Word document. Yes, on a nutshell, this is what I am looking at. Thank you so much for giving a confirmation. All right. So, except one participant, I guess remaining everyone have are able to manage to download a Power BI platform. So, what I would request on the first note, open the Power BI application. Everyone, when you open the Power BI application, you might see a banner coming up. So exit that banner, close it, and then just keep this space open. It will take around 2 minutes for you to open this Power BI. So I'll just give you 2 minutes. Open the Power BI application and drop me a message. Yes, you guys did. Okay.
Oh, hello, sir. Actually,
Yes.
this is Namita. My chat box is disabled. I don't know. I'm going through an issue. So if I have any queries, I will directly ask you.
No problem. Please.
Oh,
I'm
thank
happy.
you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. So most of you are ready with this application. Very good. Okay. So now let's start with this. Now, before we get into the Power BI application, two things I would like to definitely again remind you guys. One, if you are using a personal laptop, very well and good. So I don't think so we should have any issue there. So if you are using a personal laptop, whatever the content you have received through your email, okay, download that, keep it in a folder, and you can open the Power BI desktop and we can browse the data from there. Now, if you are using a company provided laptop, okay, now I would like to give you a caution here. Uh, in case if you are using the company laptop, just see when you are placing your data, okay, you try to place it on your desktop or either a downloads or document somewhere where there is no connectivity to the OneDrive application. Because when you have something connectivity with the OneDrive application, sometimes you might experience that Power BI might not work 100%. Okay. So today you might work. Tomorrow again when you open the session, probably what happens is you might see experience, when the OneDrive is down or your internet is down, the dashboard whatever you are creating for your reference will not be 100% working. Okay, it will work but it will not give you a 100% result. So just be cautious about it. If you're using a company laptop, if you're using a personal laptop, I don't think we have any issues. We are still good to go with. Okay. Okay, so if you have opened the Power BI application now, like what we do on an Excel file, again coming correlation back to the Excel file, any moment when I'm opening a new Excel file, what the first thing that I do? I would save the file because I don't want to lose my data, right? So first save the file. Now, when you are saving this particular Power BI file, okay, this gets saved as PBIX format. Okay, I'm keeping the same thing on the chat window so that you will be able to understand this. It's called PBIX. Okay, so any Power BI file that you guys are saving, that will get saved as .pbix. This is the extension, like how we see .xlsx, .xlsp, different kinds of extensions. We will see .pbix. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm saving the file by using the same command like Control S, and it will ask me to save the file. So I'm going to save the file on my public workshop here. I'll mention it as day one. I'm mentioning it as day one. The only reason why I'm doing is so that I would like to see myself what is the progress from the day one till the last day of the session. Okay, so this is what I'm habituated with. Or if you are still fine, you can just give a name to that and then keep it. So like whatever the process that you follow, I don't have any objection about it. So you can use it the same way. Okay, so if I have saved the file, now I'll keep this aside and then talk about more in terms of the Power BI. Okay, let me try to bring out one presentation. I remember I have this presentation somewhere. Since you guys are very new to this tool, I thought let me just give you a little introduction about the Power BI so that ignore few of the slides. So all the slides are not meant to be the same, but I can just go through a few things. Okay. Right. So let me explain it from here. So this is the a little bit of introduction about the Power BI, what I have thought to put it in here. Okay, and basically what this particular slide explains is, since you are very new to this Power BI, just giving you a heads up about understanding how do you understand this complete Power BI. Okay, so let me skip this particular slide. Let me show you. Okay, from here. See, Power BI can be connected to different sources. Yes, exactly. You can connect this from different sources. Okay, so right now, this whole session, what you guys are going to learn is how do you connect the data from an Excel workbook and how do you create the dashboard, which is a very simple and basic step and easier way. Now, little advanced to that more. Okay, if you want to apply the same back to your work life, okay, and you would like to create some sort of dashboards there, and since if you have a better understanding of your ERP tools, okay, which are the external tools, then something like SAP or Internet of Things or Salesforce I have just given you, and need not necessarily be that these are the ones, but still yes, you can connect back to your Oracle, SAP, or different kinds of SQL data servers also, provided that you need to have a proper login credentials and the password so that you should be able to connect. So you can directly connect your data to a ERP system directly, and not required or not necessary that you have to download your data to an Excel and then do. But since as a step one, when you are learning from the scratch, I'm teaching you how do you load the data from an Excel source and to your Power BI. Okay. But this is where you can still connect your data sources to. And also what else you need to understand when you are taking the Power BI. So you have to understand that the Power BI desktop application, okay, right now what we are going to teach you in the session is something called the Power BI desktop application. Okay, and we also have a Power BI service, which is an online application. What makes the difference between these two applications? Right, on the Windows desktop application, you guys are going to build your dashboard right from the scratch. Okay, so which means loading the data from your data source and transforming and cleaning of your data, and then turning the data into a meaningful structured data model, and from there you are creating a report out of it. Okay, a reporting is nothing but a mixture of different visualizations and different sheets within it. Okay, this is one particular picture you are doing on the Power BI desktop application. On the Power BI service, once after you create your report in your desktop application, you are going to publish this report onto the Power BI service, which is an open licensed source to remaining other employees in your organization. Okay, and do remember very well, on the first note, do remember very well, if someone, you can take this as an interview question, or you can also take this in a general, if someone approaches you and when you say that you're a Power BI expertise, and then when someone come and ask you, hey, look, I want to publish this dashboard to all the other employees in the organization, how do I do that? Now you need to remember, you can do that provided that you have your Power BI service having a license in your company. Okay, this is the way. But when you have a Microsoft account, which is a personal account, okay, let's say for example, I have my personal account, okay, with my Microsoft. Can I be able to log into the Power BI service because I'm using a paid version of Microsoft? Absolutely no, you cannot. The reason being, the Power BI service is meant only working with an organization account, not on the personal account. Since you guys already have registered yourself to the Microsoft application with your personal accounts, it will auto detect the moment once I click on the sign in, it will not allow you to get into the Power BI service. So you need to have an organization account, or let's say the working account, in order to publish to the Power BI service. So this training session will be completely onto the Power BI desktop application, which is around 95% of your work is completed. The remaining 5%, again, this will be applicable only if you think your report has to be published with other. Or again, the question comes back to me in this way. Good. So when you say that you have created a report and then without sharing this report to someone, what is the use? What is the point? Right. So definitely you don't need to have a Power BI service. Power BI service is something meant to be like a SharePoint. Okay. So a group of individuals are connected to a particular workspace and you're deploying the dashboard what you created in your Power BI desktop application to access it there. However, can an individual person see this PBIX? Yes, provided that, let's say, for example, today, one of the participants, like uh, Pramod, is creating or working on a particular dashboard on, let's say, version 2.0. Okay, so he created a dashboard. Can he share the dashboard with Srikant? Yes, he can share the dashboard with Srikant by attaching this PBIX file to his email. Okay, he can share it through email. But what if Srikant have a version of 3.0? Will that work there? Yes, Srikant can able to open the PBIX file what Pramod have shared, and this is 3.1. I am using since 3.0. I'm able to open it. Now, if Srikant is using a 4.0 version of Power BI desktop, he created a PBIX file and he's sharing it back to, let's say, Deepali. Okay, and since Deepali is using only 3.0 version, can Deepali will be able to open the Power BI desktop application, the PBIX file? No. Initially it will say, okay, look, this particular dashboard is created on a higher end version than the current version what you have in your laptop, so upgrade yourself to the highest version. And upgrading of the highest version doesn't require a license, it is a freeware, right? So you can definitely open a Power BI desktop. Once you upgrade your Power BI desktop, you can very well see what the version of PBIX file Shrikant have shared to you. Okay, so far is it clear to everyone? Do you understand like how the Power BI is little bit working, having a little bit of understanding? Okay, I'll look at my chat window again just to see if you guys are okay or you have any questions so far. Okay, okay, good. All right, taking this concern as yes, I'm just going to the next one. Well, we are talking about the different sources on the Power BI, how we are connecting the things. Okay, also we have mobile apps as a separate onto the Power BI application. The only reason why there is a Power App is it is allowing the users to create a mobile view. Okay, um, there are certain sites where it might not be compatible with mobile or might be compatible with mobile. Okay, but yes, Power BI is also offering a mobile application wherein you can create your page, whatever you have created, in a mobile view also, how the user might look like. Okay. Um, so we are not talking about the mobile apps because um, I would definitely say this is least required and no one is absolutely looking at this point in time. But first get used to the Power BI desktop application and the options inside that, then you will get a fair idea about the mobile apps where I can touch base that particular topic maybe at the end of the session, on the last day of the session. Okay, right. So this is what I want you guys to understand, what exactly is the difference between a Power BI desktop application and the Power BI service. So we are going to concentrate more on the Power BI desktop application. And moving on to the next slide, this slide speaks about the workflow of a Power BI. Now, since you are, if you think the Power BI desktop applications, if you already have experienced a Power BI dashboard, and if you think someone gave a uh, very high look and with a very excellent and superb view, don't think that it is going to be so uh, tedious that okay, I might not able to do it. It is going to be very simple, and trust me, it is all depending upon how you guys think about the Power BI application. How is it working? In order to understand how does it work, the very first thing what we need to understand, what is the basic workflow of it? How does the Power BI is exactly working, right? So for ease of understanding, I have just plotted in this way, where on the left hand side, it was showing you different sources. Okay. So as we are speaking more about the example from the Excel, you are looking at this Excel. So the data is connected from the Excel and loaded onto the Power BI desktop application. And from the Power BI desktop application, within that, what is the next step? The first step, as said, you're transforming and cleaning up the data. Okay. And then you're creating a data model out of it. And then you're creating a visualization. And that is where you are saving this as a particular report. And these are the steps that you are going to make it very simple. And these are the 4 steps. However, in each step, okay, this place, the transforming and cleaning up the data might not be, let me put it this way. You will not spend more time here. Okay. I would say you will not spend more time here, but either you will spend more time on the data model. Okay. And also on the visualization. But again, visualization comes very easier with your data model. If your data model is very strong, your visualization will be very strong. If you are thinking of the visualization first and then thinking of your data model, then this part becomes more difficult than this. Okay. Because sometimes, probably, I'm just giving you this example because I, as a user, also experienced this earlier. Let's say I have a data in the dashboard, and what I would do is I would think, okay, fine, let me create a dashboard first. Okay. Rather than thinking of creating a data model, first I would be thinking, okay, let me create a data chart, and let me create the chart first and then think of what I can do. Okay. And then when I'm all of a sudden when I start working on the chart, then in the middle of the chart I will think, okay, I have to think in another way. I should not think in this way because this might not work. Then what will I do? I'll go back to my data model and then think there, yes, my data model is correct or not, right? So that's where I'm just telling with the experience, the more stronger you are on your data model, the more easier your visualization will become. Okay. And if you are thinking of the visualization first, your data model will become much more difficult. So think of it while you are taking a step and then execute. But my attention will always be onto the data model first to understand, okay, I need to have a certain data points with me. Okay, what is that I'm going to do with my data? Okay, since in this example, as I prepared the database, I know very well what exactly needs to be done. So I'm going to teach you what we will do. But when you go back to your professional life and then try to apply there, so think of it again and again and understand what is that exactly you wanted to show. And based on that, first create your data model. Then we are going into the visualization. This is how you need to work on the Power BI. And trust me, if you do this, you will become master and it will be much more easier and you will start learning it more and you can excel yourself on that. Okay. All right. And this is the look and feel. Anyways, we are going to see the same thing on the application directly. And just for your information, where we are going to work on 3 different views here, report and data and the model, where these are 3 are correlated to each other on the Power BI desktop application. Okay. So as if you look at my statement here, what I have mentioned, the Power BI desktop application is updated and released every month. Only most recent version of the Power BI desktop is supported. So when I say the supported, which means, remember, there is no harm in upgrading this Power BI desktop application whenever you have it, whenever you see this message, and do that upgrade. And nothing, and this is going to be a free software. Okay. So just keep it so that it is easier to see all the PBIX file that has been received from your colleagues. Well, this is the same topic what we are going to discuss in terms of connect data set. And as I have mentioned, there are more data points that you can see. Like I said, the Excel file or text or XML or PDF or anything like SharePoint folder, SQL Server database, Access database, lot of data sets you have, and you can choose whatever the data set here it is suitable for your work and then use it accordingly. Okay. And this is how the end visualization, not exactly that you are going to do it this, but just a look and feel what are the different kinds of visualizations that there are on the Power BI, why it has been so famous. Okay, more interactive. And the right hand side picture, what you see here is called a report, where you are seeing this is exactly a dashboard where it is a mixture of different reports and different pages. And we are going to create a single report as a user of, as a newbie on this particular tool. We can create a single report with multiple pages and then see how does it look like. Well, with this, I would stop the presentation here, and there isn't much that we can discuss on this. Rather, I would definitely prefer to talk more on the Power BI live. Okay. Okay. Um, I hope you guys have saved this file with whatever the name you like and with PBIX file. So I should see the Power BI desktop application. Well, on the first note, any application, any visualization tool we are working on definitely requires a data to see and analyze. And also, the second question will be how large I can, how long this Power BI dashboard can withstand with my data sets I have. Okay, so is there any size limit for my data set, and where does my data exactly sit, and will there be any problem with the data when I'm loading? This is the first step that we need to know. Okay, so what we are going to learn, since a few members have already attended our, the advanced Excel, okay, from Prabhas, I hope if he would have touch based a topic called the Power Query, well and good. If not, anyways, we are going to discuss the same thing. So the background or the backend for this Power BI application to work is Power Query Editor. Okay, it's called Power Query Editor. It's the background for the Power BI application. It's Power Query Editor. Deepali can't see your screen. Have you shared anything? I'm still sharing my screen, Deepali. You're able to see? Okay, she's not there. She's not having access to the chat. Okay. Deepali, if you are there on the call, maybe you can unmute and talk to me, or you can log off and then log in again back. The rest of the guys, you are able to see the screen?
Shrikant, we don't see the Power BI right now. We see your chat box.
Yeah, but you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right, that's good. Thank you. Deepali, probably you might log off and log in again, so that let's see if you can able to see the screen. Okay. Right. So we are on the back on the okay. We are back on the topic Power Query Editor. Okay. So the Power BI application, the background of this is called the Power Query Editor. Now, the second point, what you also need to understand, is it necessary that your data will always reside on the Power Query Editor? Okay, it depends upon the situation. Scenario one, if you are loading a data, which is called the import query method, okay, and a direct query method. So there are two methods, what we say, okay. Again, I'm just keeping it on the chat window so that you will be aware of. So one is called a direct query. So one is called a direct query and the other is called import query. Okay, on the import query method, yes, definitely whenever you are using the import query method, you will see your data residing on the Power Query Editor. But on the direct query, you will not see any data coming onto the Power Query Editor. Rather, it comes directly onto your Power BI desktop application. Okay, but again, in this method direct query, the data will not straightly come onto Power BI desktop application also. Okay, but it comes in a table way, or it only shows you the fields method. Okay, we are not going to the direct query method here on the session. The reason being, in order to get into a direct query method, in this case, okay, the first thing I'm going to, you can focus my screen where I'm pressing here, okay, where the circle appears. So here I'm using the get data application. Okay, in this get data, you have different sources as I have mentioned. Okay, let's say if I'm using an SQL server, okay, just for an example, if you're using an SQL server and you're connecting your data set directly to an SQL server with your login credentials, now there you will see the option of direct and import query. A direct query is nothing but you are not loading your data, rather you are loading the headers of the data table. Only certain columns what you require. You are loading the direct data, and it will directly load onto the Power BI visualization here on the field section. You will not see it on the Power Query editor. The second way, it's called the import query, which we always use this, okay, which is recommended. The import query method will import the data onto your Power BI PBIX file, and you can see the data at any point in time. Okay, so that's called the import query. So only during the case where the import query works on the Power Query editor will be open. Now, in this case, what we are going to learn is on the Power Query editor first. How do you import the query? Now, the very first thing when I see the Power BI desktop application, is there a necessity that I can go here to the get data and then load the data directly from here? I would recommend do not do that. The reason being why you don't do that is a simple thing. When you do this, the moment once you become more expertise on this, you can use this option. I don't deny that you should not never do it. You can do that, but only once you are becoming more expertise on that, you will learn the difference why I don't load the data directly here rather than loading onto the query editor first. When you load the data here, there is a chance you might skip the query editor and you might be not in a position to identify how do I go and where do I go and see for my data. So what I would recommend, the very first step, once you open the Power BI desktop application, save the file, and once you save the file, remember this first option, okay? This option called transform data. Do you remember this option very well? Okay, because we are going to work on the transform data more and more. Why we use the transform data? Transform data is used to get into the Power Query editor mode. Okay, if I want to go to the Power Query editor at any given point from the desktop application, the option I use is transform data. Click on the transform data, and that is where you should see a Power Query editor window opens. Now, the transform data on your Power BI desktop application and click on the Power Query editor and confirm me that you are able to see the Power Query editor, everyone.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Okay. You guys are able to identify that. Now on the Power Query editor, okay. Now that what we are going to do here is the data sets what I have taken, okay. The data sets whatever I have taken here, the data sets whatever I am taking here, all the Excel files, okay. Now I would like to import the data here into the Power Query editor. Now that each Excel file you have on your data sets, okay, they are in an Excel workbook format. Now, when I load all this information here, okay, then that is where you are going to see each Excel file coming in a table format. Okay. Remember that the Power Query or the Power Query editor or the Power BI desktop application, here technically what we say, we are working on a sheet, but in this application we are going to work or load the data in the form of tables. Okay, so those are all called tables. Now how do I load the data? um, when I'm teaching this option, okay, I would say, is there any option that I can load all the files at one time? Absolutely no. You have an option where you can import the data or connect your folder directly, okay, but you don't have this option of directly loading all this information, provided there is a method. Again, there is a method. Understand this point. Whatever I'm taking, I'm not giving you a practical example here. The reason, because I don't have a complete 100% example for that. However, I can give you a certain inputs about that. And if you didn't understand, I'll repeat it one more time. Let me tell you this way. Only method when I can load all the files at one time and combine them is, let's say for example, if I have a data pertaining to my sales, okay, and I have a daily sales report coming up. So the daily sales report which I'm receiving on my email box or to a folder have the same set of number of columns, but the rows may vary, the same set of columns and no change in the column names, and it is consistent over all the reports whatever I have received so far. In those cases, you can import all these files at one shot and create a consolidate file. That is only way that you can work on. If in this case, okay, although I have the data where it is easier, let's say the Asia, Africa, and then the remaining all the continent have also the similar information, okay, although we can make a consolidated at one shot, I am teaching you to do it so that you will have a hands-on experience more on loading the files and keeping it as a practice. Okay, I hope this is clear. So with this, now I want everyone to do this way. Now first thing, let me show this and then you will do it. First thing I'm going to do is to click on the new source, okay, on the home tab. Now remember this, whenever I say, okay, you need to go to this particular option. What is the easiest way that you can do? Remember these names, okay, these are the tab names where you can see the home tab, transform tab, add column tab, view, tools, and help. Anyways, we are not going to work on the help, and on the tools, we are also not going to work on the tools. We are going to work view, add column, transform, and home. Okay, so whenever I say home tab, remember this home tab. Whenever I say go to the transform tab, you need to go here. And whenever I say the add column tab, you need to go here. And whenever I say the view tab, you should go here. Okay, so now on the Power Query editor, go to the home tab. Within that, let's say when I say a particular option, it might not be uh, eye catchy at the first time, right? Slowly when you will see yourself, the moment once you're coming to the third session, you'll get used to that more. Okay, now just for your ease of understanding, under the home tab, when I say go to the query group, okay, this point where you can see I'm highlighting, this is called query group. Okay, so these are all called different groups. Manage columns is a group, sort is a group, reduce rows is a group, transform is a group, combine is a group, all inside AI insights is one group. Okay, data sources, these are all different groups. So what I would say, go to the home tab and under the new query group, in this new query group, click on the new source and click on the new source and choose an Excel workbook. And when I choose the Excel workbook, it will ask me where is your file from. I'm going to select the datasets folder since I have saved it here. And the first thing I'm going to add a file called Asia. Okay, I'm using a file called Asia and click open. When I click open, it is connecting directly to a Excel file. Okay. And once it is created, I have this sheet called Zomato Asia. Okay. I select this. I did a check mark here on the Zomato Asia. Okay. And once I check, I could see there is a preview of the data, which is seen in the Excel file. And now what I do is simply click OK. The moment when I click on OK, you should see a Zomato Asia appears here as a table. And this is my first query. And here there is a Zomato Asia. Well and good. So I'm not going to do any changes, or I'm not going to do anything at this point in time on this table. Rather, what I did is I have loaded a Zomato Asia and then keep calm. Similarly, again, I'll go to the new source, click on the Excel workbook, and this time I'm going to add the Africa. And when I do this Africa, again, the same step, it will ask me to check this file. Okay, I will see this file here so that the data appears. And when I click OK, again, I could see the data is loaded. So I have the data from Zomato Asia and Zomato Africa. Now, what I'm going to do is to give you time for a 5 minutes. I want you guys to upload the data for all the continents. And do remember this again, you are going to load the data only from these files. What I'm going to put on the chat window: Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, SAM, NAM. Okay, all these 6 continents data you are going to load. Apart from this, you are not going to load anything else. Okay, let me also keep the other one. Once you are going to set update all this information, then also I want you to upload the country code, currency converter, and fact table. So I'll put these also here: country code, fact table, and currency converter. So altogether, you will have around 9 tables with you. Okay, Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, SAM, and NAM. These are 6 continents, and the country code, fact table, and the currency converter. And do not load the consolidated file. Okay, do not load the consolidated file. Rest you can load them. So altogether, you should have around 9 files. So now start doing it slowly, and don't think again. I'm explaining. Don't think that you're whatever you're doing right now is why am I loading all the files? Why can't I do a simple option? When you're learning a new tool, do not look for the shortcuts. Okay, look for the proper way, what you're doing, only to experience each of your data, what you're doing. Then you'll have more hands-on experience, post which you can find out the shortcuts. So while you guys do that, I'm also loading the files from my end. So I'm just loading.
Shrikant, sorry to interrupt you, but I am not able to see the Power Query editor in my desktop.
Okay. Do you see the option called transform
Yes.
data?
Yes.
Click on the transform data.
Okay.
So once you click on the transform data, you should be able to see the Power Query editor loading.
No, from there I can see transform data and data source setting. Others option are grayed out for me.
Okay. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Remaining everyone, if you guys are able to do it, just load the files for me and then keep it. Okay.
You can see.
Yes. Click on the transform data.
Okay.
Here you can see the Power Query editor.
Okay.
Now you can start loading the data from the new source here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Just keep doing it. Share your screen like that and then keep doing it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Mithun is done. Okay, again, let me also do it from my end. I'm not yet done. Share Europe and then Oceania. Well, nothing to worry about the order. Okay, at this point in time, don't think that, okay, we need to keep in this particular order. Just ensure all the files are loaded. We can change the order in a different format later. Yes, Deepali, you have a question?
Sir, can you please check me from my end? Because I have some problem while taking that file. I'm sharing my
Yes,
screen. Can you please see?
yes. Let me see the screen. We are not able to see the screen. If you're still not sharing it, just do the screen sharing.
Can you see now?
Not yet loading. Um, do anyone else? Okay, anyone else are able to see the screen? Okay, I think it is loading now, Deepali. Okay, yes. Now I could see your screen. Yes. Have you loaded all the files here?
Yes, I already loaded all the files.
Show me your desktop where you have loaded the files. No. You need to extract this. I hope you have not extracted it. That's why. Okay, come back.
Okay.
Come again one step back. Okay, right click here, extract the files. I guess your system is a bit slow. Or either
Okay.
you can go on the top where you have the extract. Okay, extract all.
Okay.
Yes. Now you can click on the
Extract.
extract. Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Disconnect.
Okay, click OK. Nothing to worry. Click on cancel. Open this. Okay, select this datasets folder. No, just come one step back.
Okay.
Select this, copy this folder.
Yes.
And then go back to your go back to the one step back again. Go to your desktop somewhere.
Desktop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paste it here. No, it's already in a folder, so paste it directly. Just click on paste it directly. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can load the Power BI directly. Go to the Power BI desktop editor and then choose the datasets folder.
New source. Excel workbook.
Yes. Click on the Excel workbook. Click on the datasets.
Okay.
Now you can load the files,
Yes, sir.
Asia, Africa, all these files. Okay. Just
Okay,
quickly
one by
start
one.
loading. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I could see Mithun have already done, Shirish done, Deepak done. How about Pramod, Ankita? How about you guys?
Yeah, almost done. Just on the way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Please carry on. Yeah. It's fine.
Now I'll give you a few more minutes. I'll give you another 3 more minutes. Not a problem. Anyways, Deepal is just loading all the files. Let her also load. So far, I have got 3 people who have done. So if I have 2 more participants who are already been done, what I can do is I can again go back. Since it is a recorded session, you'll also have the recording with you. You can take it later, but it's good if you guys are following with me so that you'll get a hands-on experience. That's the reason why I'm giving you time and waiting. Great. I could see Ankita also done. Good. Rani also done. Okay. Pramod done. Okay. All right. I think we have got good participants. So just keep doing the other ones. Okay. I know that one of the participants they're unable to they don't have the Power BI. So excluding them, there are 2 more. Deepal is doing it. So yeah. Deepali, you can just keep loading the files and then catch up with me. Meanwhile, I will just go to the next step.
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Thank you. All right. Now that I have got, okay, so if you have loaded all the 9 files, on the left hand side, you will see all the queries here. Okay, so this is Zomato Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, NAM, SAM, KPI, USD converter, and the country master. Okay, and guys, take this as an example. And since it says Zomato, don't go back and fight with Zomato with this data. Okay, just keep it as an example and keep it with yourself as a market analysis, because this is only a market example purpose we have taken. Don't go with the reality of this. Okay, just take this data as whatever as an example it is. Right, so now that I have got all the steps, okay, all the 9 tables, now let's look into one of the table, and I want to show few of the details within the table to have an understanding of the data what you have loaded, and then we will look into the next step. Right, so remember, when you have loaded this information on the Power Query editor for one of the table, okay, you need to be little aware of what are the options we have. So I'm going to teach you all the options, not one by one, but as a whole together when we are sorry, when we are loading this information and when we are work practicing more, you will come to know what are the different kinds of options that we are going around. But on a nutshell to say, close and apply, we are going to do it later. Okay, and the new source is a place from where you have loaded all your Excel files. Okay, now that I believe you are good, whenever you have some data, how do you load this onto your Power Query editor is through this particular step what you have done. So you have done 9 tables, so which means you have done 9 times this as a practice, so you should be in a good position where to load the data from. And the next part, which is the recent sources, is nothing but from where you have loaded your files, it is going to get captured. Like the same way in your Excel file, the most recent workbooks, in your Word document, it says most recent Excel Word documents. And in your PowerPoint, you'll say most recent presentations. Similarly, you have the recent sources. So I'm not going to touch base this, or there is nothing, it's only for your information. Otherwise, if you have any other data other than these, if you want any data that needs to be manually put across here, you will do this and enter data. Okay, otherwise we'll not use this. Now the data source setting, I need to teach you this in a way where, for instance, okay, as an example, okay, you are all attending the session and then you guys are doing very good and you are loading the data from the scratch and then you are done visualization, everything is good. Now tomorrow what you're going to do is, let's say you are done with the training session. Okay, then what you will do, whatever the data set I have given you, you will keep it as a practice. So as it is my personal device, what I'm going to do is, okay, I will move this data sets, whatever I have created from my desktop application, from that place to my E drive, okay, or to your personal drive. And then you'll create a folder there and then dump all the sources. You'll cut and copy. Okay, you're not copying and pasting, you're cut and pasting the data. Okay, which means literally you're moving your data from one folder to another folder. Now, one fine day, you want to refer your Power BI dashboard, and then you have opened the Power BI dashboard. The very first thing that once you open, it will ask you, okay, this is 3 day old, this is 4 days old, or this is 56 days old, whatever, how many ever number of days it have been created, it will show a message here. Okay, exactly at this place, it will show a message. It is around 5 days old or 6 days old. Then what you will realize, okay, ठीक है, ये काम करेंगे. Let me refresh the data, and you will refresh the data. The moment you refresh the data, it will, the first statement, it will come as a error message. The reason why, The reason because you have moved your data from your original position to another location, and because the data source is missing, obviously it will ask you, bus, I'm missing the data source. Now, how do you go back and fix that thing at any given point in time? When you face this issue, how do you fix that? What I'll do is, we'll go to the Power Query editor, click on the transform data from your Power BI dashboard, and then you will fall into the Power Query editor, and then you will come to this place called the data source setting. Okay. And on the data source setting, you will see there are certain files which have been loaded. All these files which have been loaded. Okay. Now there is no option where you are going to change all this at one shot. You are going to change this one by one. So what I'll do is, at this point in time, I'll select this particular file, or let's say this Asia file I want to fix. So I'll select this and then go to the change source here. And once I click on the change source, it will ask me to browse for the exact location where the folder is. Now I'll browse this folder and then browse for my new location and find out where my Asia file is. I'll select the Asia file and click on open and click OK. Okay. And in this case, I'm clicking on cancel, but I'll just click OK. So once I click OK, you will see the data sources gained back. The data connections are back. Okay. So that you can do for all the files wherein then you will see all the files are loaded. Okay. So friends, now you understood how you will be doing the data source setting. At any given point in time, if you are changing your original data source to another location, do remember very well, how do you change the data source setting is using this option, data source setting on the query editor. You'll click on this and then choose the file for which you want to change the data source and click on the change source, select for the new location and click on OK. Now, if you have this option, understanding like why we need edit permissions or clear permissions, remember when you are loading your information from any share folder, okay, from any share folder or from a SharePoint folder, when you are loading that, then this comes into the picture called the edit permissions, wherein once I click on the edit permissions, you will have the privacy level. Okay, so when you are using a share folder or a SharePoint folder, check this and click use this always as none so that it is easier. Always try to use it as none. Okay. If it is a share folder, you can use it as a public because people who are connected to all your share folders can also access. Unless it is not provided, it will not. And that's the option of the edit permission. I hope now you should be in a good position to handle the situation when it says there is an error in the data source. You should be able to do this. Okay. I will come back to the manage parameters. I will come back to the manage parameters. Now, before that, we are going to see a refresh preview. Okay. Now, again, the scenario is when your data source is not changed, the data source from where you have already have given earlier remain the same. Okay, it remains the same. Now that you have loaded a new set of data, okay, tomorrow you are loading a new set of data with the same workbook name, with the same structure, and you want the Power BI to pick up the latest file. All I'll do is I'll come back to this place with the refresh preview, use this drop down, click on the refresh all, and I should see all the data files are getting refreshed. So which means when I have done a particular data source from a particular Excel file today, tomorrow when I have an updated file, I will save the file name and the sheet name and the structure within the Excel file. Just say column names and only the column names. The structure of the whole workbook remains the same. And I'm sure that there is only change in the number of rows of the data. So I'm going to replace my original file where I already have placed with a new data set and come back to my Power BI dashboard and click on the refresh preview where I'll use the option called refresh all so that I'm connected to the latest data set. Okay, this is how you can use the refresh data. Now, since you have loaded all the files, I want you to press Ctrl S. Okay, and once you click on the Ctrl S, you will see this option called apply later, cancel. Always use the apply later till the time I tell you to click on apply. Okay, just click on apply later. Now at this point in time, at this particular point in time, I will definitely understand either there is a problem in your file or not. Okay, now I want you guys to click on Ctrl S and then see if you are seeing the options called apply later and cancel. Choose apply later so that it is saved. If anyone has any issue, do let me know here. I'm anticipating there shouldn't be any issue, but if there is anyone having any issue, let me know so that that might be an example of what not to do. Okay, can we add can we add data from the SharePoint or window shares? Yes, Mithun, you can do that till the time definitely you are having access to that particular place. Okay, okay. um Nawaz, you mentioned the cut and paste. What is that regarding that? Okay, for instance, what I meant to say, today I have a folder called Power BI training. Within that I have a folder called the Power BI workshop. Okay, and I created data sets and data day one. Now tomorrow, what I meant to say here, if this data set, okay, if I cut this data set and I changed my mind and I wanted to keep this here, okay, I'm moving all the data sets here. So at this point in time, it is already open, so it is not working. Let me close this. Okay. Okay, it is already open in another program. Okay, so I'm just canceling it. I hope my data are not gone, right? So when I cut this data and then paste it somewhere, which means my data original path of this is getting changed. Okay, but when I go back to my Power BI, okay, and when you open the Power BI and try to click on the refresh, then you will see a message here that the source of the data is missing. In that case, how do you handle that situation is what I'm explaining about, going to the data source and changing back to the source of that location, of the file locations. Okay. Okay. Dilemmas, are you okay? You got your answer? Okay, thank you. Yes, Ankita, what's the problem there? You said Control S trying to do, but it's not working.
Yes, it's not working. I'll just share you my screen.
Yes, please.
I think it's getting loaded. Just a minute.
No problem. Okay, while Ankita is sharing the screen, Mithun, so when you say the share path and it's a shared drive, I assume, right? You're talking about the shared drive.
You're able to see?
Yes, it is loaded.
Okay. So I was trying to do control yes, but it's not working.
Okay, what does it say exactly? Let me see.
No, it's yeah.
I am actually interested here.
You're able to see, right?
I'm able to see, and then you can see on the top, it is highlighting something. Okay, just do the Control S.
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, so it doesn't say anything, or you
No,
can.
no, no, no. It's not giving any pop-up.
Okay, so close this file. Okay, close this Power Query editor.
I'll close the file.
No, close the Power Query editor screen.
Huh.
Do you want to apply the changes? Not now. Okay, so open the Power BI dashboard there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Now click on the transform data.
Okay.
Click on the transform data.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I try it once again?
Let that load. Okay, now
Yeah.
you give a Control S command here.
Yeah, given.
So which means it is okay. Now it is working on it. It just gave you the message. It's saved. So not a problem at all. So I guess my guess you would have already been applied earlier. Okay.
Okay. Yes, it showed a certain pop-up. There are changes to be applied. I applied it.
Yeah. So that's where I have told apply later, but that's okay. There is no harm in that.
Okay. Okay.
Now, when you click on Control S, why it is not giving you that option? Because you have not actioned anything here. Okay.
Okay.
But just in
Okay.
case you have actioned anything, and again you give on Control S, then again you will see the message called the apply or apply later.
Okay. Okay. In action in sense, if I change anything and I have to save it, therein it will show again apply
Yes.
changes. Right? Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thanks. Right. I'm sharing my screen back. So here, okay. Now that what we have learned is on the data source setting. Okay. And we spoken about refresh preview. And the remaining options, what you are looking at here, we are going to slowly see one by one. Now, as I have told you, mentioned earlier, a Power BI is a powerful tool for me and for us. Again, sometimes when I use the word for me, the only reason why I say because I have completely experienced it. Now, at the end of the complete training, you will also feel it is really good. Okay. So when we are looking at this particular tool, what you can experience it is a mixture of a different combinations of Excel and PowerPoint is what I have mentioned to you. Also in SQL. Okay. And you will see why I have told that statement. What we need to learn here on the right hand side, you will see called the query settings. Okay. You will see a query setting just in case if someone by mistakenly have closed this Power Query setting. Okay. And if I'm speaking about the query settings, then you are unable to see that, nothing to worry. You'll go to the view tab on the top. You'll go to the view tab and you'll click on the first option, which is query settings. Then you will see the query settings back on the screen. Okay. And within the query settings, you will see whatever the table you are currently working on, you will see the table name here, which is Zomato Asia. You are seeing the table name here. And then you'll click on the app. Okay, so there you will see there are called applied steps. This part is nothing but the moment you are doing any changes on this particular table, it is going to get captured. Let's say, for example, the first thing what you have done is you have created a source for this. Okay, so it is giving you the source step. Then you are going to the navigation. So once you are click on the source step, it has loaded the data. Okay, and you can see here the data, the columns are not in a shape. You can see the columns are coming on the first row. On the third step, it is called the promoted header, where it whatever the data is there on the row 1, they are used as the header. So now you can see the headers here. Okay. And then the fourth one, which is called the change type. Change type, do remember, again, let me keep it again one more time. Change type, remember this point very well. When you are loading this information back with your real-time data, remember this point. If you are loading an employee data or you are loading any data related to your order numbers or anything, wherein for any data where it starts with 0, okay, let's say this is a restaurant ID. Okay, here there is a restaurant ID wherein it is never started with 0. Okay, so I'm happy and fine with this. But if you are loading a data pertaining to your employee list, and there are certain chances where you can see the employee data might start with 0. Okay, in that case, okay, in those cases, if you want that 0 to be there, okay, then what you are going to do is to remove this change type. You'll delete this step called the change type, so that you will see the zeros back again. Basically what this change type actually does here, it will auto detect what your data you have loaded onto the Power BI. It will identify either it is in a text format or a number format. You can identify this particular column here called the restaurant ID. It is in the number format. How do you find it? Before the restaurant ID, there is a 123. Okay, there is an indicator called 123. When I click on this 123, you will see it is in a different format called decimal number, fixed decimal number, whole number, and the percentage and the different forms. Now Power BI identified that, okay, this is a whole number, so it gave the indication as 123. Similarly, for the country code, it is again 123, which is this is a whole number. On the city, you can see it mentioned it as ABC, which means this is purely a text format. Indicates that this is a text format. So Power BI has the capability to identify what kind of data you are loading and how do I identify the data. So it identifies the data for itself. So here you can see the latitude and longitude data, wherein this is in the decimal format. So it is shown in the decimal format as 1.2. Okay. All right. So far clear on how the change type works and what exactly the change type does? Or any questions at this point in time? Let me check here if you have any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, assuming that you guys are good, I'm going to the next step. Right. So whenever you do any changes here on the table, whenever you do any step on the table, okay, now you are going to see all the steps are being captured here. Okay, this feature is nothing but I can, if I correlate back to your Excel file, record macros. There is an option called the record macros. So whenever you're recording a macro, which means whatever the steps you're doing on the Excel file will be recorded on the backend. Similarly, whatever the changes you are doing on this particular table is going to get captured here on the applied steps. So this is where we call this is applied step. And that's why I say this is a combination of Excel also. Okay. Also at this point in time, if in case, if one of you are very interested to see, let's say, Shrikant, I'm an SQL expert. I would like to see myself that the data is coming in a SQL method. Okay, so how do I do that? Then you can very well look at your data. Okay, you can very well look at your data and then see how it is captured in an SQL way. So the same applied step, you are looking into a SQL way where you will go to the view tab, and on the view tab, you are going to see advanced editor. So when I click on the advanced editor, you will see the data coming up or captured here in an SQL method. Okay, this is a query method. Either you will see the data in SQL method, and also you will see it in the applied step. Whatever the steps they are being applied, it will automatically capture here. This is just for your reference and easy. Okay, I'm just click on done. I'm not going to look at that anything. Right. And also, what else I need to understand in a particular table? You see there is a teal color here. There is a teal color appearing here everywhere for each column. You will see the same thing in all the tables. You'll see in all the tables there is a teal color appearing. Okay, so I'm speaking about the Asia table at this point in time, where I could see the teal color. When I hover my mouse on this color, okay, I could see a small stats appearing. There it says restaurant ID valid 1000, error 0, empty 0. What this actual teal color indicates? This teal color indicates that your data is free of errors and free of empty rows. Okay, your data is free of error and free of the empty rows. So which means every row, every cell have a data which looks good. And when it's a 100%, which is giving you according to the data type it is detected, यहाँ पे it is in a whole number format and it didn't find any abnormalities in your data. It looks perfectly all right. And this color indication tells you that you are very good on in terms of your data. When I move to the right hand side, I'm just taking a look at all the data here. When I move to the right hand side, I don't see any changes in the color, right? Everywhere it says it is teal color. So which means I'm good with this. And what you see here, the statistics, this is called column quality. This is called column quality. Okay. And either you can see by hovering the mouse here, or if you are still more interested, you can do it one more way. You can go to the view tab. Okay. You can go to the view tab and there under the data preview group, you will see an option called the column quality. When I check this, it will say yes, 100% data validity and there are no errors or there are no empty data anywhere. So I'm good to go with this. Okay, I'm unchecking this. So I just wanted to see it here. Now, are we good till here?
Hi,
Or
Shrikant. If
yes?
there is an error for say if it is the empty row is there and if it is an error for say by 15 error, what we have to do in that case?
Okay, we are going to deal the same topic now. We have one more table where you will see more empty errors.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Mithun, have a question here. In Excel, we can copy paste macros. Can we do the same in PBI? Good question, Mithun. Um, for instance, again, so take this answer very clean. Okay, what I mean to say, for example, within our training group, okay, within our training group of all the participants we have in our training group, since we are using the same example, okay, what I would say, I'll go to the advanced editor, okay, and then what I will do is I'll give you this data. I'll give you this advanced editor data, okay, and I will say, okay, Mithun, use this advanced editor on your Zomato issue. Okay, so what you can do, you can copy paste this. However, if you look at this advanced editor way, okay, everything works very well and good apart from one thing, which is the source. यहाँ पे जो source है, मेरा जो data source यहाँ पे, whatever the data source is there, this particular data source will be different to you. So you need to change this in your setting. Apart from that, whatever the steps I have applied will be done. But again, it will not sync. So again, what I mean to say, you're just copying and pasting this information there into your editor. So it will work once you are updating this particular data source setting. Okay. Remaining everything, whatever we have done will definitely work. Where to paste? Okay. I'll go back to the Power BI editor screen. I said, click on the view tab, click on the view tab. and I have the Zomato Asia. Since I have gave you the Zomato Asia, I will ask you to double click on this table, Zomato Asia, and go to the advanced editor, and whatever I have given you, if I paste it here, okay, it says no syntax error have been detected initially. And once I click done, my understanding, you should receive an error message at the source, but not on the remaining place. At the source, you need to use the change data source setting so that it will automatically work for the remaining steps. Or either there might be a chance where you might lose all the steps and you might have to do it again. Uh, I don't know if you are trying it, do let me know. Okay, got it, same direction. Thank you. Great. Now that what we have discussed is about the column quality. Now I will give you a minute to cross check. In Asia, I don't see any empty. Okay, since it is difficult to go back into each column to check, what I would suggest everyone is to go to the view tab and click on the column quality, enable the column quality for Asia, and then just cross check your data is not having any empty rows anywhere. Okay, take a minute time, go back to Africa table. Okay, cross check if you are having anything or any empty rows anywhere. If you detect any empty row in any one of the table like Asia or Africa, just bring it to my notice. We are going to deal with that situation now. And I sense someone should raise your voice on this, that yes, you see a data, an empty data somewhere.
Hello. Hi, Shrikant.
Yes,
Pramod here. Just
yes, Pramod.
wanted to get understand a little bit on these applied steps.
Hmm.
What is the main objective of the source navigation, promoted headers, and change type? The
Okay,
main.
okay. Now let's say that there is someone have given you a Power BI PBIX file to you. Okay,
Mm.
and you're referring to many of the tables here. Now, when I click on one of the table, and if I'm interested to see what exactly is the source of this information, I can click on the source. It will tell me what exactly is the source of the data. And this is a step-by-step procedure. Let's say, for example, when you are already applied a lot of steps, and if you want to see it's like a debug method. We are debugging the data. So we are going step by step to see how the data has been transformed into your desired structure. Okay, so in this
Mm.
case I'm going to see, okay, the source of this file, okay, it is coming from a certain information. This is a sheet source, and then on the top I could see, okay, this is the location of the file. This is my location of the file. Then navigation, okay, it navigated to this particular sheet called the Zomato Asia within that particular file. Then promoted header, the next step what it happened is it promoted the header. It used the first row as the header. Then the change type, as I told you, this is detecting the auto detecting the data.
Okay.
Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yes. 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 Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this
All
will
right.
be there for all the whenever we upload our data. So these things will be there
It's a by default.
by default. Okay. 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 Okay.
By default, you will see this information. Okay.
Mm. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Right. Okay. And now, did anyone identify any empty rows from anywhere? Okay, there is a new message. I got it. In Zomato NAM, the column cuisines have null values which is greater than 2%. Great, Mithun. In Zomato NAM,
So even Country Master has this, na 95%.
great. Country master also have. Thanks for identifying. So we are going to deal with the situation. Okay. Now, as I told you that just imagine that you are not aware of this option called the column quality. Okay. You're not aware of, but someone when you might not even understood that there is something an empty row. But if you look at this here, the teal color, यहाँ पे जो brown color, there is one small identification which is in the brown color, right? There I could see there are empty rows here, which is 9 empty rows. And I believe this 9 empty rows came here in which way? You can see, okay, on this table, you can see there is a null value, right? Here, there is a null value, and here there is a null value. So which means the third row, there is a data, but it is showing a null value. Okay. Now that for this particular data, since there is a null value, okay, since there is a null value in this particular column, how do I deal this situation? What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this column. Okay. I'm going to select this column and go to the home tab. And under the transform group, I'm using an option called the replace value. Rather than removing the empty rows, I'm choosing the replace values. When I click on the replace value, I'm saying value to find. The value to find is null. Replace with no q sign. Okay. I would replace the values with no quizzens. So I'll just click OK and fine. Now that I could see the teal color, there are no empty rows here. Everything is filled. Okay. Everything is filled in here. And again, as said, remember to select this particular column and then do the replace. If you're not selecting this and you are selecting a single cell and then click on the replace value, what is going to happen? Wherever the null values are there in this particular entire table will be filled in. And if you look at this applied step here, you can say the replaced value. Okay, you will see there is a step applied for the replaced value. When I click on this replaced value step, it will say on the top the replace value wherein the null value is updated with no quizzin and in the column called the quizzants. Okay, I can double click on the setting button on this gears button or the setting button to understand what value has been filled in here. And I hope you have done everyone with this. Okay. Let me see. There is a new message. Okay. Not Asia, but I have an error in NAM, right? We know that we have dealt with that, Rani. And same with the country master. Yes, we are going to do it. Right. No one is raising the hand. Okay. So assuming that everyone are good here. So I'm just looking at the SAM data. I hope there should not be any empty rows on the SAM. Okay, lovely. We don't have anyone. On the KPIs table, also I see that there is no empty rows. Great. On the USD converter, yes, there is a data. On the country master, right, there are empty rows. There are 10 empty rows and 0 errors, but there are 10 empty rows, right? Now, if you look at this country master data, okay, anyways, I know very well that I have prepared the data, so I know it very well. But again, as I am the owner of my data, I'm able to identify. But in your case, when you are the owner of the data, you should also identify in the same direction, looking at your data, what you have loaded. Okay. Again, it comes with an experience. I don't say it is just going to come within overnight. It comes with an experience, but You will gain a lot of experience when you're dealing the data more number of times. Okay. Now, what we are going to do is just take a look at the data for a moment and then see and tell me what do you find in this data and what the best you can do in this particular data. What is your observation on this data? Just tell me what did you observe on this data?
Country code and country both are null.
Country code and country both are null. Okay, that is one point you understood. Okay, another point.
And
I think
even
so. We can remove the data.
You can remove the complete data.
No, the one which is blank null.
Okay, we can remove the data which is null. Good. Another point.
They are
another
duplicates.
point is
Okay,
Sorry.
there are duplicates.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another point. Yes.
and one more point is like one country has they have their unique country code. One country has unique country code.
Okay, so each country has a unique code, right?
Right.
Good. So we are in this direction of looking at the data. When I look at the data, I observe that there are null values. Also, each country have a country code. However, there are duplicates also. Okay. Now with this information, what best I need to do? So I would definitely pick an action that I don't require to see more duplicates. There's no point in keeping duplicate lines. I need to remove the duplicates. And prior to that, I can also remove the empty rows. Now that, how do I remove my empty rows? What I'm going to do is I'm going to hover the mouse again on this color, brown color, and I will see the statistics. I can click on the remove empty from this place so that my data is removed. You can see the data is filtered for the blanks, non-blanks. You can see the step which is applied here. Also, you can see what is the step applied. Okay. Post which, when you guys told that we need to remove the duplicates, can I go and select the data here and then just click on remove duplicate? Never do it, because I want to remove the duplicates from the entire table. If I want to apply it from the entire table, as said, select one of the cell and then type Control A as a second step. Select one of the cell, type Control A as a second step, and then go to the Home tab. Okay, go to the Home tab, and there is an option here called the Remove Rows. And when I choose the drop down of the Remove Rows, you will see Remove Duplicates. So when I click on the Remove Duplicates, I should see the data is free of duplicates, and now put together I have got around 2 columns, 15 rows. I could see this on the status bar left hand side, just above the start button, 2 columns, 15 rows. And also this is how I have got this information. Okay. Since it is a tiny table, you're able to see the data. What I have done is I removed the empty rows and then I removed the duplicates.
Can you tell
So,
the
Shrikant,
first part, filtered row, how did you do it?
Okay, I'll remove the steps here. Again, I'll do it. Well, you can do it one way. Select any one of the cell from the table. Select any one of the cell from the table. Step 1. Step 2. Type Control A from your keyboard so that your whole data is selected. Okay, type Control A. Now that I have selected 2 columns, 209 rows. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is on the Home tab, under the Reduce Rows group, I have Remove Rows. Okay, the option called the Remove Rows. When I click on the Remove Rows, I will see multiple options here. Remove duplicates, remove blank rows. Okay, so I'll click on the remove blank rows. That's the first step. So when I remove the blank rows, the total number of rows are reduced to 199. And again, on the same page, on the same step, again I'm choosing remove duplicates so that my 199 rows are reduced to 15 rows.
Understood. Thank you.
Right.
So,
Someone have a question?
yes,
Yeah.
Shrikant, this is Afreen. So I
Yes,
was
Afra.
just seeing this till line that has when you just keep your cursor there, you get a pop up, right? Country code, and there is a three dots there because I was also seeing that, which also shows the same thing which we have done it through home. The keep duplicates, remove. It's the same thing, I guess.
Okay, so you mean
The
to
three
say,
dots on your right hand side.
okay,
The till line when we keep, there's a pop-up that comes country code 15, 100%, 0% error. So there is a three
okay,
dot. So it's the same thing, I guess, right?
yes, it is the same thing.
Okay, thanks.
It is the same thing. You can, yes, you can do it. That's what I have told you. Again, that's what I told you, Afrin. You have all the shortcuts here. You will definitely see all the shortcuts. Only when you're getting used to that, you will get to see more. I'm just teaching you just in case if someone is unable to do it from here, you can use the options from here. But good that now I could see you're getting used to that. Great. Now, being said that I have removed the blank rows and the duplicates, also I would like to see if I can able to keep my data in a sorted way. Okay, just to make it little meaningful. Can I sort the data? Like how we do in the Excel, can we sort the data? Yes. Again, if you see this, I'm using this option. Okay. In this space, I'm not looking at any options, but again, I'm still in the selection of the entire table. Okay. I can select this sort ascending. Now, what you need to understand is again, in Excel, we have this option like select the entire table and then click on the sort button and then choose the sorting there. But in Power BI or the Power Query Editor, slightly little different. Okay. You should not select the entire table at one time. Okay. Because when there is something in your mind that you need a multiple sorting, you need to sort column by column, not going to be all at one shot. Column by column, you need to sort. So now that what I'm going to do is to sort the country code column first. Then I'm going to sort the country. Okay. So on the country code, when I select, I'm selecting the country code here, and either I can go to the drop down using the filter drop down and then click on the sort ascending, or either I can use the option called A to Z, which is the sort option here, which comes in the home tab, sort group. I can use the A to Z or Z to A. Okay. I'm choosing the A to Z option here, which is ascending. Now that you can observe that there is an arrow mark on the filter button, which is just added, which indicates that the data is sorted in an ascending order, which is A to Z. Okay. And the same step is also being captured here. Yes, the data is sorted. So that's why you could see the data from A to Z. This is the first sorting. Now that if I want to also sort on the country, okay, if I also want to sort on the country, now I'm selecting the country and again give A to Z. Then if you look at this option here, before the filter, earlier when we did the sorting only on the country code, you didn't see any changes apart from adding a up arrow or adding an arrow direction on the filter button. But now that I also have included the country and on the sorting, then you could see there is a numeric added before the filter. It says 1 on the country code, 2 on the country. The reason being, we have done the sorting first by country code, then by country. So if a user wants to look at the data and then see how the data is being sorted, this gives you the proper direction that, okay, the country code is sorted first and then the country is sorted next to that. Okay, that's why there is an indication of 1 and 2. Right. So far, any questions?
Shrikant, do you mind explaining this thing again?
Which one, the sorting?
Yes.
Okay. Same row has null values, so we can remove complete row. Okay. I hope, Mithun, you are talking about the country code. If it is yes, you can remove it. Okay, I am removing the sorting rows again. Now the data is not sorted. Okay. My first thing, what I wanted to do is I want to sort the country code and the country. Okay. So how do I sort the country code and country? Now the first thing, when I type Control A and then want to sort the country code here, okay, in this direction, you will not see, okay, not this is not the way. Let me put it this way. When I click on this whole table, you will see the sorting columns are grayed out. This is not working. Because we can't sort the data all for the whole table at one time. It is not possible. Rather, what you can do is individually, column by column, you can sort. So how do I sort individually, which is column by column? First thing, I select the country code column. And once I select the country code column, I can click on the filter button and click sort ascending. The moment when I click on the sort ascending, you can see that there is an arrow added to the filter button. Now next to that country, you can see there is no such kind of arrows, which means this is not sorted, but this is sorted. And also you observe that before the filter, there is no number present. Okay, so which means there is only one particular country code column that is only sorted at this point in time, not the any other column. Now adding more to that, when I go to the country column and choose this filter and then give a sorting here, which is ascending, now you will see that there is an arrow added onto the filter button here for the country as well as the country code. So which means the country code denotes this number before the filter denotes country code in the sorting procedure. Country code is the first column that got sorted, thereby sorting country column. You got it? Or still you are a little confused about it? Yes, Afrin.
But matlab, I understand one should be like United States, right?
One should be like
The
United
country
States.
code.
Okay. We are doing an ascending to descending, not descending to ascending.
Well, I had a query that if you're actually sorting it, so when you're sorting the country code, automatically the country is getting sorted. So why we need to sort even the country?
No, you don't need to sort the country, but I'm just giving you an option.
Okay.
In case if when you have a large data,
Okay.
when you have a large data and when you want to do multiple sorts, you can do it this way. And when you do the multiple sort, it will give you an indication that which column is sorted first and which column is sorted next.
Next.
Post that column. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Afrin, does that solve your answer?
But I don't know. I'm somewhere confused. What I'm thinking that +1001 is US. So why is it matching with India? I mean, this country code doesn't match.
Okay. Now I got to know. Take it as an example. This data, what I have given is I prepared by me. Okay. And don't go with the reality of the data. I gave that India should be 1, Australia should
Okay,
be
then I
14.
got it. Okay, this is manually that you have just
I
given us an
created
okay.
it. Yes.
Okay,
For the training
ad hoc.
purpose. Okay.
Yes, got it then.
All right. Thank you.
Uh,
Yes.
Hi, Shrikant. Mithun this side. One
Yes,
quick
Mithun.
query.
Yeah.
Sorry. In VBA actually, while doing the macros, you can apply filter conditions. Like there can be more than multiple columns you can put in. I mean, and or conditions. Here also, I mean, while I tried to sort country first
Mm-hmm.
and then the country code, so
Mm-hmm.
Australia came first and even US it came last, but the country codes it's not sorted. It's
Okay.
unsorted now. So
I
can we
I
do
get
like in VBA?
I
Sorry.
I okay. I believe you might have done it this way. You would have sorted the country first and then followed by the country code.
Yeah, I was just trying the other way, right? Yeah. Yes, I
Yes.
did.
You can do it that way. So, which means when you have sorted by country, so which means Australia comes first and then the country code followed by. Even that is also correct. There is no wrong in it.
Okay.
But what you are doing on the VBA when you're talking about the and or, that is altogether a different concept. This is just by sorting. Okay. So that's what I have told you. In Excel, you can do it at a one shot. You're doing it at one shot. Say for example, don't do it. I'm just doing it for only for you to clarify this information. So when I open the country code Excel file, in Excel, I have the option where, okay, this is my database. So I have this option like, see, there are multiple blank rows in between, so I'm not able to do it. So let's say I'm using this whole selection till down. Okay, there are 210 rows. Now in this case, I'll go to the data here. I'll click on the sort. And then when you're recording a VBA or when you're doing a manual VBA, you will be doing this way. Like, okay, I'll select by country and then I'll add a level and then I'll say country level. There you will see A to Z and smallest to largest because since it is in the number format. And then when I click on OK, that is how the data is getting updated. But in Power BI, you're not doing this all at one shot. In Power BI, what you're doing is you're doing step by step, one by one column, because altogether you cannot do it here. You will do one after the other.
Okay, I believe the Excel, I mean, it can use those kinds of programming what we do for VBA. Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
Okay, understood. Sure,
right.
sure.
Good. Any questions so far from anyone? Well, if you don't have any questions, we can take a 10 minutes break and then we can regroup in another 10 more minutes. Okay, and then we can continue the session. Probably you can just finish off your personal works and then again be back sharp by 10 minutes. Okay. All right. If you guys are back, just drop me a message that you guys are back so that I'll be able to understand, or you can unmute and say. Okay, Rani is back, Sirish is back.
I am back.
Thank you.
Even I'm back.
Right. We'll just wait for a minute for the remaining ones. Okay. All right. So let's start. Now I'm sharing my screen back again. Okay. So far we have learned how do we load the data and how do we check the column quality of each data that we have loaded, and how do we deal with a null data, or let's say the blank rows. And also on the error, I haven't thought because we don't have any errors, but what are the possible scenarios that you might come across on the errors? The possible scenarios are this way. When you are loading a data from your Excel file, which is a formula column, okay? For instance, if I have applied any formula in an Excel file, I'm not giving an example, practical example here, but I'm just giving you a theoretical explanation. When you have a particular formula applied in your Excel file, and when you are loading that particular file to the Power BI, and in Excel file, if that formula is returning a value error, like not applicable or any other value, then in Power BI platform, you will see the same value in a null value. It will not come as remove error. It will come as a null value. Okay. That is one scenario where you can handle. Another scenario is when you say remove error inside the Power BI formula, inside the Power BI, when you are applying any formula called DAX. Okay. So in Power BI, when we are applying the formula, it is known to be DAX formulas. Okay. Which you are going to have it in the coming sessions. When we apply any formula through DAX in the Power BI, then if it returns an error value, then it will show as error. Okay. Or that is one scenario. Or another scenario where you can see in this particular country code, when I say all this is in the number format, and when you come across any particular value which is in another text format or any other format, then it will return you as error value. Okay, it will just mention as ERROR, error. You can remove those errors, or you can replace the errors with any value you like, you desire to. Okay, so errors are those scenarios where you will come across. And at any given point in time, if you see when you have loaded a loads of data onto the Power BI platform, which means on the Power Query Editor, and suddenly you realize that you want to do some change to the data, there is no possibility onto the Power Query Editor where you can instantly change the data here. Okay, you cannot change the data instantly here. Rather, what you can do is you can always go back to your source data, which is your Excel file, and then do the changes and then click on the refresh all, which will automatically get updated here. Okay, that's the only way that you can do. Okay, now that I have reached till there where I have done the country code and country, also there are few changes. I'm going to give a control S this time again, and it will ask you apply or apply later. I'll choose the option apply later, so that only my file is saved so far. This is what we have done.
Shrikant,
Yes.
now since we have deleted some of the records
Mm-hmm.
and we also deleted null records,
Mm-hmm.
is the backend Excel also updated now?
No, Excel is not updated. Only the data on your Power Query editor is updated. Your source remains the same.
Okay, okay.
Those changes are not going to affect onto your Excel bank. Okay, let me just take a look if anyone have any questions. Looks like no one have any question.
Shrikant, why we are
Yes,
doing that
Ankita.
apply later, right? What is the meaning of doing that? Why do we do it? Why can't we apply it, and why we are doing it apply later?
Okay, when I say apply, okay, when I say apply, this will take me to the Power BI window directly, and which means I'm ready for the data to show it in the visual format.
Oh,
Right
okay,
now,
okay.
I'm still not in a position to put it onto the Power BI window. So that's why I'm using it as, okay, I still have some more work to do on the Power Query editor. So I'm using apply later.
So the baseline is that once you transform your data, I mean you cleanse your data, its data is ready to load. That is when you have to do apply, and you have
Yep.
for the dashboard visualization, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions from anyone?
One more thing, following to the
Yeah.
same, if we do apply by mistake or anything, does that affect anything, or we can still work on it? There is
You
no
can still
problem.
work on it. There is no problem. But the only thing is, if you are taken back to the Power BI window, you will click
Okay.
on the transform data again to come back to the Power Query editor.
Okay.
Right. Dil Namaz, you have a question. Once applied cannot be changed. No, it is nothing like that. You can go back to the Power Query editor by click on the transform data. Why we are not doing the apply later? Because I'm still not in a position to apply my visualization. So that's why I'm giving the option apply later. But if you click on the apply, again click on the transform data back to go back to the Power Query editor, and we are going to do the changes there. Okay, great. Then moving on to the next one. So good that we have the data from Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, NAM, and SAM. Okay. Um, well, this part, what I'm going to teach you, this step is, if you ask me, is it really required? It is not. But to give a professional look, and for someone who is looking at the data and to have a professional look over it, I would recommend this way. I know that all these files or all these queries, whatever I see on the left hand side, all these are my input files. Okay. But however, I'm going to segregate this into a different folder structure. So how do I do that is, I'm choosing the Asia, right click here on the Asia, and I'll choose the option called move to the group, and I'll click on new group. I would give this group name as continent input. Okay, I'm just giving this group name as continent inputs, and description, if it is up to you if you want to mention anything, or you can just leave it as it is and then click OK. So now that I could see the Asia is moved into a new group called the continent input, and similarly I'm going to choose all the folders, all the files, by selecting the Zomato Africa and then holding my shift button on the keyboard. I select the SAM directly, So all the remaining five tables are selected, and I'm just going to drag them above and drop it. So that now I could see these are all the data coming from the continent inputs. Okay. Similarly, on the KPI, I will create one more group and I'll say other inputs and click OK. And just that I'm going to move the remaining other two tables onto the other inputs. It is not required that you have to necessarily do this, but this I do it wantedly because just to give a professional look that it is being handled by a professional, and also it is easy for me to identify, okay, these are these are my input tables and this is my output table. That's how I look at the data. Now that what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more group, after which I'm going to add few more data. But so far what I have done is created two groups called the continent inputs and other inputs. Sorry. Okay, if you have done that, okay, I'm sorry, just leave it. Okay, if you have done this, now what we are going to do is, now we are very well aware that the data is completely free out of errors and spaces. I mean, errors and the null values, right? The second step, what we are going to do is we are going to combine all this information into a single table called Zomato Global. Okay. Now that we know very well that there is no such kind of data here or a table which has all this information consolidated into a single table. Okay. Now that we are going to do a consolidated table. But again, the question remains this way. Okay, you will consolidate all into a single table. How do I identify within that single table that certain lines belong to the Asia, certain line belongs to the Africa, certain lines belong to the Europe? How do I ensure? Because in each continent table I look at, I have certain information like restaurant ID, country code, city, restaurant name, locality, locality verbose, longitude, latitude, cuisines, but I don't have any information that is going to say, okay, this data belongs to the Asia. Now, what we are going to do is to create a new column in each of these tables and then mention against each of that particular column with the respective continent name. For example, what I meant to say, I'm going to the Asia table, the Zomato Asia table, and on this, I could see the applied steps as source, navigator, navigation, promoted header, and change type. Now that I'm going to add one more new step, that's called add column. Okay, so how do I do that? I'm choosing the add column tab. I'm going to the add column tab. I'm going to create a custom column here by using the second option, custom column, under the add column tab. Click on the custom column, and here on the new column name, I mention it as continent. Okay, and on the custom function, I'm just going to open a double quotes and mention it as Asia. Okay, I went to the add column and have chosen the second option, which is the custom column, and there is a pop-up window appeared, and I have given the continent and the new column name as continent, and within that, in the formula, I just mentioned it as just simply say Asia by typing Asia in the double quotes and then click OK. Now when I do that, I could see that there is a continent called Asia which is added at the end of the Asia table. Okay. Now, similarly, I do the same thing for Africa also. Again, I go to the add column, click on the custom column, and here on the custom column, I name it as continent, and I name it as Africa, and click OK. Now this is where there might be a chance where the users, okay, people tend to make a mistake. The reason why I'm doing that, when I append the query, I'm assuming that all the data will be appended. However, when I type the name continent here on the first table, there might be a slight change. If by mistake, if you type continent, or if you have misspelled it, or you have missed any one of the alphabet when you are doing it, when you are appending the table, you will see two different columns rather than a single column. How do you avoid such kind of cases? Okay. I would say this might help or might not help in or not all the directions. Let's say, for instance, how it is going to help me. This method, what I'm going to do. I don't recommend you guys do it, but just you practice in the way what I have taught you now by adding a custom column. But I'm just telling you, curious, if I am there in another, doing something little advanced, I would do this way. For Africa, as I already have added the column, I'm going to the view tab on the top. I'm going to the view tab on the top, click on the advanced editor, and I'm going to use this last three columns, three lines of data, which is change type, added custom, and added custom. I'm copying this. I'm going to the Europe. Again, do not do it. Do not do it. Just watch I'm doing, because if you are trying to do, because you are still learning it, you might commit mistake here. But just for a consistency, I'm showing you. I'll go to the Europe table, click on the advanced editor for this, and remove these last two steps, which is in and change type. I'll paste it here. Sorry, I'll replace the data from the change type here. Okay, I'll replace the step from the change type here. On the change type, although it shows no syntax errors have been detected, I'm just cross-checking. Okay, there is a comma. Very good. And since all the columns are ready and all these values are matching with my previous thing, okay, so I'm good with this. So I'll click on Asia here. Instead of Africa, I'll mention it as Europe. And click done. So with this step, you can see there is one more column added at the end by name continent, and then it is mentioning it as Europe for the Europe table. But this comes with the practice, a very, very high level practice, that you're very thorough with the advanced editor. Unless and until you are not at all thorough, do not attempt to do it. Okay. I'm doing it because I'm completely experienced with the editor. I know where I can fix that. So I just did it, but I have shown you. Otherwise, I would still say the easiest way is go to the Oceania table, click on the add column, click on the custom column, and then put this column name here as continent, and then double quotes, and then Oceania. Click OK. Similarly, I'll do for the NAM. Since we have more applied steps on the NAM, okay, you might not be able to do the same job like on the advanced editor earlier. There might be a little change on this. So however, to avoid that, I'm just doing here like NAM and Sam. And click OK. Now with this, I'm all set with adding a custom column in all the continents. Like against each data set, I have created a new column with the continent name. Okay, let me go back if you have any questions or anyone have any issues. Okay, so far I didn't see any question. So which means, can I consider that you guys are good with this particular step?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, if you have done this step, we are going to see in the next step, have you guys done this in a proper way or not? Okay, I'll give a minute. So that everyone can finish this and then we can be on the same page. Okay. Now the next part, what we are going to see is called appending of the queries. Okay. Um, Most likely you will see the same option what you have done in Excel earlier, like clubbing the information or appending of the information from different sheets to a single sheet. Okay. Um, the very first step, when you are having such kind of data in your Excel files from different Excel files or in a different Excel worksheets, the very first thing, I think in the initial stage when people are um, working very close somewhere around 2007, 2008, that's when this particular uh, step in Excel gained more knowledge onto the focus, gained more focus onto the VBA by saying, okay, look, I have data from different sheets which are of same structure. How do I append it with one go? When I have 50 sheets, how do I do it? Can I have a macro? Can I write a macro code? Can I do this? This has taken the more focus on the VBA culture during that particular time. Now, with the growing Excel, okay, into this time, okay, the current time, now you can see this became much more easier when people are really good at macros. But onto the Power BI, there is much more easier step. Okay, there is much more easier step. You don't need to worry about all this. It's just with a click of 3 steps, you can just finish all your data into a single table. And that's what we are going to learn now. So the aim here is to create a single table called the global table, which we are gaining the data from all the tables continent inputs table into a single table. Okay, so how do we do that? On the home tab, again, I'm going to the home tab, and this time I'm going to the group called combine group, which is at the last right hand side. Okay, just before the AI insights, I have the combine group. On the home tab, on the combine group, I have an option called append queries and merge queries. Now we'll look into the merge queries later. Now we are concentrating on the append query. And next to the append queries, there is an option where you can see append queries and append queries as new. I'm going to choose append queries as new so that there is a new table created with all the data from all the different tables. I'm not going to choose the append queries directly. If I choose my append queries, what is going to happen? The table, Asia table right now, where I am currently in selection, this original table might get affected. I don't want this to happen. Rather, I want to create a new table, which is append queries as new. So click on this append query as new. You should see a new pop-up window called append here. And you will see an option where you want to pick from two tables, or you want to pick from 3 or more tables. I'm going to the option called 3 or 4 more tables. And Below that, you will see left-hand side available tables and tables to append. Since Zomato Asia is already in the selection because we are at the Zomato Asia step and then doing this job, you will see the tables to append. Zomato Asia has already been available. So I'm going to select the Africa till SAM by holding the shift key. Okay. And then click add. So when I do this step, you will see Zomato Asia, SAM, NAM, Oceania, Europe, Africa are updated. Now, it depends upon the way you are selecting the data. Okay. It depends upon the way you are selecting the data. So I'm just moving this here. I'm just moving this little top by selecting this arrows just to make sure that this is in this format in an order. I would keep the order like Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, and then NAM, and then SAM. Okay. I'm giving you this as an image on the chat window so that you will have this order. Not necessarily that it has to be in the same order, but I am doing it so that it will be easy for us to understand. That's all. Okay. This is just easy for us to understand. So I put it this way: Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, NAM, and then SAM. And click on OK. So when I click on OK, what you are going to see is there is a new table called append 1 added under the continent inputs. And here you are going to see more number of data. However, the checkpoint here to everyone, if you and me are on the same page, it's very easy to understand. You should see 10 columns and 999 plus rows. So here you should see 10 columns and 99 plus rows. Now, if you are executing this step on your screens, make a checkpoint that you see total number of columns should be 10. Now, if there is an increase or decrease on the column, which means that somewhere there is a mistake happen. Okay, now I'll give you time for a 2 minutes. You can execute the step and then see you are able to see all the 10 columns and then confirm me. If you are able to do it, well and good. If not, let me know. We can see what went wrong. Suresh, done. Great. Great.
Done.
Great. I don't listen till now that no one is not matching with me. So which means that we are all on the same page. Really good. Okay, how about the other one? Dilnawaz, you're able to do it? Ah, there you go. You're not matching with me. What is wrong with that data? Doing wait for me. Yes, Rani, I'll be waiting. No problem at all.
Can you please repeat this append process?
Yes, I can.
Last section.
Yes, I will do that. I'm going to delete this table. Okay, before I do that, the first checkpoint I need to ensure that I have added a new column in all the tables. In the Asia, wherein I have added a new column called continent, under which I have mentioned it as Asia. Similarly, I have done for Africa and then Europe, Oceania, NAM, and then SAM. I have added a new columns in all these tables. Okay.
Yes, it's done.
Then I went to the append query on the home tab under the combine group. There is an append queries, and I am using the drop down here and choosing the option called append queries as new. I have chosen this, and when I have asked append what needs to be appended, I'm using the option 3 or more tables. Okay, and since Zomato SAM is already been selected, I'm going to select Asia to NAM by holding the shift button and click on add. Okay, so with this, I'm just changing the order of this table here. So I see the order as Asia, Africa, Europe, Oceania, NAM, and then SAM. So all these 6 tables are appended, and now click on OK. I should see there is a new table called append1 which is added. And I give the name append1 as Zomato Global. Okay, I gave the name as Zomato
Okay, sir.
Global. And what I do is I'll move to the new group. Instead of keeping it in this group, I'll move to the new group called output or custom tables. I'll name it as custom table, and then I'm moving the Zomato Global into the custom table so that it is easy for me to identify. And then I'll give Control S and give apply later so that my data is saved till now. Sorry. Okay, let me go back to Dil numbers. Cannot say the column numbers as means 10. Yes, Dil numbers, you want to share your screen? We can take a look at your data. What went wrong? I'm only watching. You don't have the data? Okay, fine. I hope you should be able to practice it back again then.
Shrikant, can you just paste the order once again?
I have put it in the chat window.
I
You received it?
actually, yeah, my connection was lost, so I'm unable to see it again now.
Okay, I'll do it for you. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Yes, someone have a question?
Shrikant, it was me, Afreen.
Yes,
I
Afrin.
don't know what had happened. Now it's okay. The append thing had come on the right side, applied steps. So why was that thing? Then I redid it and then it came on the second, the query section. So why this thing happened like this?
I'm sorry, Afrin. Do you mind to explain it to me one more time? I didn't understand.
So we were doing that append, right?
Mm-hmm.
Home, and then we did that append queries and 3 or more tables, and I
Mm-hmm.
followed the entire instruction as you said, but when I did it for the first time it came on the right hand side of this Power BI table where it is written as applied steps, navigation, promoted headers. So I actually just reread that, and then it came on the left side where the continent inputs, queries and all these things are written. So I was just thinking why this thing came on right side.
Okay, it would have come on the right hand side because within the append table, you would have appended again.
Okay,
Or
okay.
within the
Or
appended table, you would have appended. Or either on the left hand side, in any one of these continent tables, you would have been applying the append step in any one of these continents.
okay. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
in order to cross check, what you can do is you can just go to the Asia table, check you have append one here. Likewise, just go and check in all the tables you have somewhere append one.
Okay. Got it.
Now that you told me that you have deleted it, I assume that it is deleted
Yes.
and it is still lying on the left hand side as append one. So anyways, I have renamed that to Zomato Global so that it is easy
I've
for me
done
to
that.
identify.
I've done that. Zomato Global.
Great.
Thank you.
No problem.
Mine is also coming on the left, I mean in the right hand side of where it is applied step. So I should click on Zomato Asia and then append it, or where do I click then?
Sorry, come again, man.
Shrikant, actually mine, I mean, I was doing the same similar steps what you have said, but mine is coming around in the separate sheet. So I selected on Zomato Asia, so it is coming on applied steps on appended. Where do I select it?
Okay, can you share your screen?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. Yes. Show me
Okay.
where you have done.
What I did is I just did append query.
Okay, so you haven't done the append. No, no, you should not do the
Okay.
append. See,
1 second.
so when you are doing this, when you are doing that, that's what I have told you. You are doing, okay. You need to do the append query as new, not on the append queries.
Where is it?
Okay. Below that append queries. Okay. Okay. No, right. Click on the drop
Okay.
down of that
Yes, yes, yes.
append query as new. And
3 or more tables.
right now you can go on 3 or more tables. Right click OK.
Oh, okay.
And then you can rename this append one table as Zomato Global. And let's see, once it is appended,
Yes.
let us just ensure that you have got 10 columns. Yes, you're on the same page with us. Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Just press enter.
Okay.
Right. There you go with
Yeah,
us.
yeah, I did it. Yeah. And
Great.
then I have to
Thank you.
move it to a group, which you said.
Yep, you can just move to a new group so that it is easy for you to
Yeah,
understand it
understood.
as a custom table or
Understood.
something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Good. So far what we have done is we created a global table, and within the global table we are able to identify all the data. Okay. Now again, as I told you that there are 10 columns here wherein everyone are able to see the 10 columns, and I think only one person is unable to. Probably she can take a look at that later. But also, just to give you an understanding, you see there is a point here which says 10 columns and 99 plus rows. Next to that, there is a column called column profile based on top 1000 rows. Okay, it
So
says
we are
column
not
profiling.
able to see your screen.
Sorry, I'm sorry, not sharing the screen.
No problem.
Forget that. 1 minute, let me just stop it again. Let me share it back. Okay. I have a message. Okay, I'm just doing it one more time. Okay, so on the screen, okay, on the Zomato global table, I am selecting. And on the Zomato global table, if you see, it says 10 columns and 99 plus rows of data. Okay, post which there is an option here called column profiling based on top 1000 rows. Okay, when I select this, this is a by default option wherein it will see only the top 1000 rows, because your data might have around 1 lakh rows or 2 lakh rows of data also, provided that you don't need to require to see all the data entire set, because based upon the first 1000 rows, whatever the data whatever the steps you're doing, it will be applied to the entire data set. However, for you to visualize it, is Power BI is only showing you the top 1000 rows. If in case no, I don't require this, I want to see the entire data, you can just select this option called columns profile based on the entire data set. So you will see the entire data here. Okay, when you scroll down, when you keep scrolling down, you will see all the data. Okay, I mean, there is no compulsory that you have to see the entire data. It's up to you. Okay, but this is just an option. However, anyways, another checkpoint what we are going to do here, and also to teach you a new more one more option. Okay, and just to ensure that you and I are on the same page, we are going to see this. Now you are having a loads of data here. Okay, with all the restaurant information, and you have loads of data. But just to ensure the number of data lines that you and me have for each continent still remains the same, in order to cross check this point. If I give you the same data on your Excel file and ask you, tell me what are the total number of count for Asia, Africa, Oceania, and for each continent, what would you do then? What will you do then? If I give you the data in Excel file.
You can use a countif function.
Okay, you might use a countif function. Is there any other way?
Or a pivot table.
Pivot table, I was about to say this.
Right. The best option is pivot tables, isn't it? The best option will be pivot table. If I put a pivot table, that should give me the count of each continent, which is easier for me, right? Similarly, can I do the same thing on Power BI? Now on the Power BI, we don't name it as pivot table. On the first note, we don't name it as pivot table. Rather, we mention that as group rows. Okay. We use the option called group by. Okay. Rather than the pivot table. So how do I use a group by option? I'm selecting the global table, go to the home tab, and onto the home tab, under the transform group, you will see the option group by. Under the transform group, you will see the option called group by. Okay. So when I click on the group by, there is a pop-up window that appears here. There is a pop-up window, group by. Okay. In this, I'm using the basic group, not going by advanced. I'm just going by the basic group. And within the basic group, I have a drop down wherein I am going to select the continent group. Okay. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm not going to do any other changes. I went to the group by, and under the group by, under the basic radio button, I have a drop down wherein I am selecting the continent, and I click OK. This is just a check purpose. We are going to delete this, but however, in case if there is a requirement for you, this is what you can do. That's where this group by option is coming into the picture. Okay. Now, when I did the group by with the entire table, I should see that Asia is having 8849 rows, Africa 60, Europe's 80, Oceania 64, NAM 438, and SAM 60. So this is how I could see the checkpoint that you and me are on the same page. I'm putting the same thing on the chat window so that you can do a quick cross check here. Just apply the group by and then see you're able to see the same counts. And just in case if you are unable to see the same count, which means that somewhere something went wrong, or you might have missed one of the steps what we are seeing. Okay, Mithun says it is matching, right? How about the remaining people? Pramod, I'll repeat it. Okay, Rani says it is okay. Ankita. Okay, again, I'm doing it. I went to the global. Yes.
And I'm so sorry. Shrikant, tell me one thing. If the left table for any reason, if it gets deleted, how do we get it back?
Oh, nice. Load it through the new data source again. Load to the new source again. Click on the Excel workbook and then choose whatever the file is missing. You choose the same file.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we are talking about the group by here. Okay. So for that, I have chosen the Zomato global table. And on the Zomato table, there is an option where on the home tab, I see under the transform group, there is an option group by. Click on the group by option. And there is a pop-up window that appears wherein the first option is the basic. So no changes on this. And on the drop down, I'm going to select the continent where I have added the custom column. And I'm not going to do any changes here apart from click OK. So this is how I can see the continents are grouped by with this information.
So Shrikant, how do I go back to the original table now from here?
Right. You can click on the source. Just one step ahead. You're just going to the source. Okay, Pramod says done. Right. And
Shrikant,
yes.
when you are saying that when our my friends have said that if we have lost the left hand column or whatever, and you always say that you have to go to the group, the original starting point. So in this case, we had also added a column, no, like Africa and all, which wasn't there. So we have to do all that work again to bring the file back the way we need it to work on.
Yes.
Everything has to be done again, right? If I made 5 changes or 5 add columns, I have to work on that file for everything, correct?
Yes, only for that particular table. Yes, you need to do it. Or,
Okay.
or if you are still smarter a little bit and if you really think that you can be able to handle it, okay, I'll teach you one more option. What I will do is I will choose one of the existing table where it is a pure thing apart from these 5 steps. If there is a something that I need to do, okay, what I can do is I'll create a duplicate of it. And once I have the duplicate, on the added custom column, let's say, for example, I have lost the Europe table. Okay. First thing I'll go to the source here. Okay. In the source, either I can choose the data source setting and I'll see which table I need to select it. So here I have not added anything, right? So this is still fine. So I'm just closing it. But in this source, because as the source remains the same, it is not changing for me. So on this source, you can change this file name. You can update the file name, like either it is Europe or Africa, whichever the file you are missing, You can add the name here and then simply go to the next navigation and promoted headers and change type. Just cross check all the things are updated. And on the added custom column, you can just change the name of the new file, what is missing and what you just added. If you are able to do the smart method, you can do it. Not necessary that you have to follow all the steps, but if you are doing all the steps at this point in time, you are learning. But if you are already learned enough and you are smart enough, then you can do it this way.
Thank you.
Does it solve your case?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Great. No problem. Thank you. Okay. And let me see if I have any questions else. Okay, good. I don't have any questions. Okay, since everyone say that the data is matching with my count, okay, and as I told you earlier, I am not going to rely on this. I'm going to take off. So I'm just deleting the group rows. Okay, I'm deleting the step group rows. I did that purposefully only to know if the count is matching with my data to your data.
Shrikant,
Yes.
something messed up on my screen. Shall I show you?
Yes.
Just 1 second.
Yeah.
Are you able to see my screen?
Not yet. It is still yet to be loaded.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Okay. Wait. I think I need to stop sharing. Okay. Can you reshare that again?
Okay. Okay. I will share it again. Okay. Are you able to see?
Not yet loading. Let's just give it 10 seconds. It should load.
Okay. Are you able to see?
Not yet.
Not yet.
How about remaining everyone? Does anyone is anyone able to see his screen? Shirish?
No.
No.
Okay. I think Shirish, now it is loaded. Yes. Now we are able to.
Okay. See, now when I click on this Zomato Global, I'm seeing something weird here. Like,
Okay. Nothing to worry. I think you have filtered rows. Go to the view tab. Click on the first option, query settings, the
okay.
left hand side.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay. There is an option where you say removed columns. Can you remove that columns? The last applied step.
So this one I should delete.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you can delete this one also now.
Okay.
Yes, you can delete this group rows also. Yep.
Okay.
Now you are back with the data.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Now good that we are done with the appending query. Now we are moving on to the next step. Like how you do a VLOOKUP in Excel. Okay, like how you do the VLOOKUP in Excel. Now that we are going to perform the same thing on the Power BI, like how your VLOOKUP can be performed on the Power BI application. For that, do you really need to have a prior knowledge of a VLOOKUP formula or something, writing a DAX formula? No, it is not that way. It's going to be very simple. It's just that you are going to get reminded of your earlier mathematics topics, so like union, okay, left join, right join. So you don't need to have a complete knowledge about it. It's just going to be very simple. Okay, but as said again, this is a mixture of different platforms. So you will see the combination of all the different platforms together. That is where the Power BI is more user friendly, right? Now, on the Zomato global table, I remember that I have got all the columns and I have added a custom column also. However, what my intention here is to bring data, okay, we have a country master, we have a country master, and we have certain KPIs here. Okay. Now take a look at the data and then let me know what is the commonality between the KPI table and the global table, as well what is the commonality between a KPI table and a country master table, and what is the commonality between a KPI country master table and the Zomato global table. Okay, I'm questioning around three directions. Okay, I'll put it in the chat window. Just take a look at the data and then tell me. So KPI versus global table. This is one. Okay, KPI versus country code, and country code versus global, Zomato global. Now within these three tables, what do you find as the commonality between these as per what I have defined here? Okay, let's go step by step. KPI versus Zomato global. What is the commonality between these two? Okay, Mithun says it is restaurant ID.
It is a restaurant ID for the
KPI versus
APM,
global table.
yes. And Global Zomato and Country Master has the same country code.
Okay, country master and Zomato global have the same country code.
Yes.
Okay, good. And is there any other commonality between the KPI and the country code? Okay,
Restaurant
country
ID
master.
and the country.
Between KPI and country master? The second one, KPI and the country master. Do you have any commonality between these two?
No, doesn't look like.
You doesn't have one,
No, there is no commonality.
right? So nothing to worry. Now that what we are going to do is, if I want to bring a country name for a KPI or the other file, how do I do that is what the question. Now we will go the other commonalities first and then see what the best we can able to do. Now for that, what I'm going to do is the first target onto the global table, and between the country master, the commonality is the country code. So using the country code as the unique values between both the tables, I'm going to get the country names first onto one of the table. Okay, I'm going to bring the country names in the Zomato global table. So how do I do that? That's our target to bring the country name. I'm going to select the Zomato global table. Okay, and this time I'm going to use an option under the home tab, and under the combine group, this time I'm going to use merge query. However, I'm not using the drop down to go to merge query as or merge query as new. Okay, I'm directly clicking on the merge query. I directly click on the merge query. So when I click on the merge query, there is a window appear on my screen wherein it says merge as a new pop-up, and on the top I should see the Zomato global, because since I'm doing the merge on the global table, I should see Zomato global as the first table, and below the second table there is an empty. Okay, here I'm going to choose the table called the country master from the drop down. I'm going to choose the country master as a drop down, and once I see on the top, I'll see the Zomato global table, and the below I will see the country master table. What I'm going to do is to select the country code on the top and the country code from the below. Okay, I have chosen the country code on the top and I have chosen the country code below. The reason why I'm doing this, I want to match the country code from the global table to the country master. So I have selected both the country codes, and here joint kind. Okay, this joint kind, it says left outer. Okay, leave it as it is by default, which means when we are doing a VLOOKUP, imagine that this is your Excel file. We are applying the formula in a new column VLOOKUP, and this becomes your lookup table against with this particular table to extract the values of the country. So I'm choosing the country code in both the tables, and it says the selection matches 9551 of 9551. Okay, if in case you are with the same page with me with all the counts, you should see this message 9551 is matching 9551. And then when I click OK, I see that under the global table, there is a new column called the country master, and it says table, and there is a bidirectional arrow. Okay, which means you have applied the step properly. And when I click on this bidirectional filter, I will see all the columns from the country master table, which is country code and the country. So my target is to bring the country. So I unselect the country code and leave the country as it is, and then click OK. Now, being said that, I should see all the country names appearing here on the screen under the Zomato global table against each country code. Okay, this is how simple to perform a VLOOKUP in Power BI. It remains the same across any data that you take. It is just going to be the same across any data. I'm going to explain it one more time. This is my table. Okay, this is my table, and ensure that the grouped rows step is deleted. Okay, I'm going to the Zomato global table, and here I'm choosing the option called the merge queries. And on the merge queries, I see the global table on the top, and the below, I'm going to choose the country master and choose the country code on the top and the country code on the bottom. And I should see the sentence 9551 is matching with 9551 rows, and click OK. It gets added with a new column called the country master, and I click on this arrow, and I'm unselecting the country code, and I'm leaving only the country since I want to bring only the country name, and click OK. There you can see the country names are being added. Now, let me see if you have any questions, or have you done and or do this activity if you have not done, and then see you are able to get this data. Now, being said that, your global table should have 11 columns. Okay.
Done.
All right, good. Now, if you have done this activity and you are able to get this data, and then you have a little bit of understanding about the merge query, now that what I want you guys to do is to do the same VLOOKUP by doing one more lookup activity on the same global table this way. So I'll choose this global table, and again, I'll click on the merge queries, and I'll ensure that I have the Zomato global on the top, and under the below, I'm going to choose KPIs this time rather than going with the country master. I'm going to bring the KPIs, and between the KPI and the Zomato global, since you guys identified that restaurant ID is matching, I'll choose restaurant ID from both the tables. And again, I see this message 9551 is matching. And this time I'm going to click OK. And I will see the KPI table is being added. And I'll select this KPI table. And since I know that the restaurant ID is already added in the Zomato table, I'm going to bring the rest of the data other than the restaurant ID from this KPI table. So I unselect only the restaurant ID and leave the remaining things as is and click OK. With this, if I do this particular step, I should see there are around 19 columns going to get added to my data. There should be around 19 columns added to my data. And then try to do this and then see if you guys are able to get the same information and matching with me. Okay, Mithun says yes, he is able to get all the data. And how about the remaining everyone? Just give me a confirmation. Okay, Rani says it is good.
So Shrikant, we get all the columns from KPI.
Apart from the restaurant ID, we are going to bring everything.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I was doing the thing which you showed, but actually my file just got closed. I don't know how can I load the file again.
Click on the transform data. You should see the Power Query Editor.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Shrikant, sorry.
Yes, Suresh.
One quick
Go ahead, sir.
query.
Yes,
Uh,
Mithun.
One quick query. I mean, is there a way to turn some autosave like we do it for OneDrive in Word or Excel documents? We have autosave mechanism. Every time I have to save it, so I don't know how we do it in Power BI.
Okay, on Power BI,
Sorry.
I think no. On Power BI, I think we don't have this option of autosave yet.
Acha, acha, okay.
Let me see for you if I can find out one option. As far as my understanding, it is not yet there. Yes, I'm sorry. I think we didn't have this option of autosave.
Okay, okay. No problem, Shrikant. It's okay. No problem. Thanks.
And click on.
For now. Okay, I could see that most of you have done. Is there anyone who missed?
Excuse me, sir. Sir, actually,
Yes.
I'm actually opening the file. I'm trying to do that, but when I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to, get my file loaded, but it's actually getting automatically closed. The file.
Okay, show me, share me your screen.
Sure. I'll just share my screen here.
It's Ankita, right?
No, this is Namita.
Okay, then Ankita also done. I think Ridhima is pending. Okay. Are you sharing your screen, Ridhima?
Yes, actually, I'm just getting an issue. Just give me a second.
No problem. Anyways, I'm going to stop here with this topics for today. Okay. And I'm wanted to attend any questions that you have so far, what you have learned, and also I just want to understand that is this pace the way we are going it right now does make sense? Is it okay? Or is there anything that I can improve in terms of going a little bit faster or going a little slow? Or is there anything that you want me to change my teaching module or my style? I can, I just want to hear so that I can improvise the same on my next session and be ready with that. The last 10 minutes, I usually dedicate my time only for this to understand how you guys are doing at this point in time. Okay. Nilima, say its pace is okay. Okay. Fine, that's good. Okay. Great. And I also believe that by today morning, when you start the session, I heard from many of you that, as you're completely new to the Power BI, now at least I should be, and I mean, I want to understand, like, by this time you should be aware of, like, at least how you are loading your files and how you are doing a bit of work on the Power BI. Okay, with the basic steps, like loading of the file, looking at the column quality, checking is it good or not, how do you remove your empty rows, how do you replace the data, and how do you group a data, and how do you perform the appending query, and how do you do a lookup, like merging of the queries. These are the points that you have learned so far today. Okay, now that on the next class, what we are going to see is the data what we have loaded. Okay, then we are going to take this data back onto the Power BI screens and then quickly see tiny visualizations there to understand how your data is looking like. And then we are going to learn more deeper methods of the DAX functions there.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Ridhima?
Actually, I just wanted to tell that my Teams is giving me some problem. So I'll just
Okay,
make a note and I'll ask you in the next session.
no problem at all. Anyways, you will get this recording of the session, so you can go through the recording and you'll have ample of time. So you have a week's time, so you can go through practice in between. And remember, guys, again, don't get relaxed that you have a 1 week of time. Try practicing as much as you can with the current session, what you have learned. Try to do it, and then see if you are facing any issue, you can come back, and then we can discuss the same thing on our next session. And I assume that you can make a copy of the data sets and create a copy of the table, and then you can create a new file, new PBIX file, and then you can start creating all this again, whatever you have learned on the day one. The more you practice, the more you will be really going good. How soon we'll get the recording? I guess after the session, I think Prabhas should be able to share the recording. I think he should be able to upload it and then share you the link. Prabhas, are you there?
Yeah, I am Shrikant very well. So I'll be
Uh,
doing that job, don't worry. So I'll be
okay.
sharing maximum by end of the day today. Once it is loaded, I'll be
Yeah.
creating the sharing link and send it across.
Okay. Good. Thank you. All right.
Hi, Shrikant.
Then,
Ankita this side.
yes, Ankita.
Yeah, first